Welcome everybody to the CrossFire podcast. We are live. We were having a great pre-show. We're going to hopefully turn that into a great live show. It's Friday night. I've bothered all of these people that you know oh so well to leave their homes from gaming, from eating dinner, to be here for you. Folks, let me start with the one, the only 7:05 in Florida, 7 o'clock in New York. Crap Gamer. Crap, how the hell are you doing tonight, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Happy to be here. Going to get some... I haven't looked at the topics, but I'm sure they're amazing, and I can't wait to kind of dive in and check them out. So
it's a laundry list, crap, and I'm sure you know most of them. Believe me,
it is. Yes, I'm sure, man. Thank you for letting me be a guest on your show. Once again, I'm a big fan, Mooch.
I appreciate it.
Yes, I buy all your merch.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. So
you know what? I'll trade all that in if you just give me a code, crap.
I give you codes all the time.
You do. It's true.
DOA 6?
Anybody? Very gracious. I love it. Crap, good to have you here. And then I've got my buddy here. Sekiro Bombastic Boom! And Boom doesn't realize I'm going to E3 with him. Boom, listen. I'm really glad that you let everybody know on Twitter. You let everybody know on the podcast. But now you can let everybody know that I'm going as the +1. Sekiro Bombastic, how the hell you going tonight, buddy?
It's good. It's been a good week. A lot of news. I mean, it's crazy how it's at one point or another. Many times when we're doing these shows, we're scrounging for information.
Yes.
And it just seems like the faucet got broken and it's just pouring out. I mean, we're not even close to E3 yet. And the news has been just rampant.
I'm glad you kind of bring that up, Boom, because to be honest with you, some of this news is fantastic that it's come out so early, but at the same time, I'm a little annoyed that it came out so early because we've turned into snowballs with an avalanche, you know?
Yeah,
so with that being said, I'm going to go to my next guy, Xbot448, who you guys all may know as Darth Vape.
Darth Vape.
How the hell you doing tonight, buddy?
Dude, I got new vape hardware, man. It's Friday night. I'm good to go. I am a little distracted, though, because I'm trying to find a way to play Halo on my cell phone. Does anybody know how? Anybody? Anybody?
No, not yet.
Not yet. Damn it.
Wait till E3, for God's sake, Xbox.
All right. I guess I gotta wait a little longer. A little longer, man.
That's great.
Yo, what's going on, everybody?
Good to have you here, buddy. And then I got my Italian paisanos down in Florida. We got to buy them a lot so we can keep the family out like podcasts. Clowns, how the hell you doing tonight, buddy? Clowns! Oh, no. We lost him already, guys. I told you. Usually I get about 5 minutes of clowns time.
My cousin's over here. God.
That's an accurate depiction of clowns on the show. I think it's fine.
Right, Luca? This is normal. Let me go right to my special guests, okay? You guys know these folks very, very well. They do podcasts. They do their own podcast. They're very, very opinionated. It is a pleasure to have the beautiful, the My New York, the Ash and Luca. Luca, welcome back to the show, and it is an absolute privilege to have you here. How you doing tonight?
Hey, I'm feeling really good with that opening. Thanks for having me. Luca here, guys. What's up? What's up? Back on the Crossfire. It's good to be back.
Yes, and Luca, I totally need your opinion on a lot of these things because some of these people are absolutely, as Steeler would say in a minute, they're frauding. We need to know what the hell's going on.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay,
somebody call me.
Let me give him the official intro that he deserves. He's back. We did Xbox Nation years ago. He does RDX. You guys know him as the Fraud King. It's Dealer himself. Dealer, welcome to the show, buddy. It's been too long. How are you tonight?
The King. And also, Clowns said an alligator crawled in his room and chewed through his internet cord. So
probably a family member.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, guys. Should be a great show. We got a great panel. A lot of fucking frauds on here, mainly Luca, and a lot of great topics.
Yes, we do, buddy. Well, listen, let me not take too much longer. I mean, we've kind of beaten the horse to death, and you guys saw that even in the topics. I put in there, we've talked about this on and on and on. But realistically, as we wait for Clowns to come back to 2019, here's the thing. I think Xbox is taking an ambitious step forward, possibly with these rumors, right? Nothing is in concrete. We don't know what's going on. I think this is a little too early to even come out, but I start to wonder more and more as I hear these other rumors that Xbox kind of wanted to feel the waters. Let me start with Dealer. Dealer, you've been very, very vocal on your channel with videos and on RDX, but what is your stance, not just on the rumor? Let's not just beat the same thing with the Switch and Xbox Live going there. What's your opinion on the way gaming is going to change as we move into next generation?
My opinion on the way game is going to change.
I mean, are we looking at what we think is going to happen here? Like, if they're saying Xbox Live on the Switch, on the PS5, right? It's everywhere. These things are going to, and then you see that if it works out, Nintendo and Sony might join down the road. Is that something that you think is going to happen, or is this rumor really just picking up too much speed and can't hold its own?
You're looking at what is inevitable. We've been talking about this for almost 2 years. Just like crossplay, a lot of people saying, no, that'll never happen. That's not going to be a thing. Even though we know that it's up to developers to give us filters and options to keep players where we want them, right? Xbox or console, vice versa, together, apart, whatever. It's the same thing for this, right? It's just another option. If you don't want your Xbox games on a Switch, then don't play it on a Switch. Play it on your Xbox and don't bitch, right? It's that simple. It's just an option. It's not going to hurt you in any way. And if you think it is, then I don't know. I guess a lot of people are hanging on to that because they want to see people kind of, fuck the Sony guys. I'll say it, right? Bunch of assholes. But at the end of the day, this doesn't negatively affect you. And wanting your games to kind of stay exclusive because you want to say, well, we have these exclusives, which we haven't been able to say in forever anyway, because they've been on PC, which, by the way, a lot of people say Microsoft are only going to PC because they're behind. They're getting their ass kicked. And, we got to remind them that they did games for Windows Live forever ago. I got achievements from Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, GTA 4 from the PC versions on my Xbox because they had games for Windows Live. Even though I rarely play on PC, 1% of the time, if that, they were still doing this last gen when they were dominating NPD for 2 years straight.
I do think
anything new.
But Dealer, I think you made a hell of a point there, and I think some people are kind of sidestepping that one thing. And I know that you're putting it up and saying this has been happening for a long time with PC, and they've had the achievements system there. But realistically, can we all kind of agree that I don't think if you don't do this move going forward, I don't think Microsoft coming out with the greatest and latest in hardware. We see they have the X now, and they barely hit over 100,000 in January NPD. I don't think they would win solely on having the most powerful console. I think they're kind of saying it's not a waving the white flag and saying give up. By no means. They're in it more now than they ever have. Yeah, I think they're trying to say that this is how they're going to progress because doing it the traditional way just isn't working.
It's not working for them. They want to. Listen. They're taking the Nintendo route. They're gonna occupy a different space. Nintendo, you know how weak the Switch is. They were just like, we'll go and we'll do our thing over here in the handheld area. So, I think Phil saw the writing on the wall, and he's like, listen, we could succeed if we go this direction. And honestly, Microsoft has been leading the charge when it comes to a lot of innovation for a long time, but people they just don't want it to happen. And I don't know if it's just people are stuck in their ways and people just like things
the old guard.
The way they are. I don't really get it personally, but I don't know. Maybe it's not for me to get.
One of the things here, I agree with Dealer, definitely. It's inevitable. And I think something that people are kind of tossing to the side, a reason for it is, if you think about it, the generation that's coming up now and kind of taking over in terms of, eventually will be the ones putting out all the money for gaming and stuff like that. They basically grew up playing games on cell phones and their parents' iPad and everything like that. And now they're at a point where they are a legitimate consumer. So I like where Microsoft and Xbox is going with this because they're going to cater to a generation as well. More, not just the traditional console, but the people who grew up playing on a smaller screen, and it was absolutely fine for them.
Let me say this real quick.
Off Maluka, what she said a second ago is because it made a lot of sense. And two, I want to double down and say Microsoft were actually, and they have been, among the most profitable with the Xbox division in its history, right?
Yeah.
Made $10 billion in the last year, just with the Xbox division, all that stuff alone. And this is before the Switch thing. This is before the xCloud thing, before the xSlut thing, everything they're going to come out with after, right? And it's not that they need to do this because, as we've seen, they're already doing just as well, if not better than the 360. It's just that the PS4 is extremely successful. You've got that benchmark next to it, and nothing looks great compared to the PlayStation 4 right now. Nothing. I mean, Switch is great, but it's a lot newer. It came out just over, about 2 years ago now, almost. Yeah. And it's kind of got its own things and its own games and its own things going for it. But at the end of the day, the Xbox was doing fine after 4 years. It was more successful in the 360 after 4 years. And with this, it's going to do even better. Add Game Pass. And this is in a year, mind you, the $10 billion is in a year where they had no software to sell you, which makes most all their money. So imagine this year going forward, 2020, really, that number is going to jump dramatically, like insanely. So it's nothing but pro-consumer.
Yeah, no, I kind of see your point on that. Let me just do this really quick. Guys in the chat, please do hit the like button. Everybody retweet this out. Let everybody know we have over 300 now. Let's get more people in the seats here. Let me turn it over to Crap. I mean, Crap, let me tell you something. I think we've had a lot of talks over the past 2 weeks, right? And I think we've come around. Some of the things that Luca and Dealer are saying, we've kind of spun around and said, all right, I get this. I see that's what's happening. But in the same respect, there is that old guard that we're talking about that realistically, we could say we don't understand where they're coming from, but I think it's a transition, right? When we went from LP records to CDs, okay? Me and Crap were talking about an M&C last week, is that you every 10 years, every 20 years, every 15 years, in a different type of technology or in a different business, things change kind of radically. And it can kind of feel like a step back to some. They're kind of like it's a shove backwards, but really it's just such a drastic change. Crap, how do you kind of feel now that this is we've had about 2 weeks to kind of digest it. It's not the same as we first heard it. Where are you today versus 2 weeks ago?
I actually don't think it's going to happen for the Switch, to be honest with you.
I heard your video.
Yeah, I after talking to a couple, I don't think it's going to happen, mainly because the Switch, if you look at their Wi-Fi that's actually in the Switch, it's not very good. There's no third-party carrier for the Switch, meaning there's no 4G, there's no 5G. They couldn't do anything. I think the Switch is gonna get is some ported games. They're already getting Hellblade. They're gonna get Ori. They're gonna get possibly a Forza game from Microsoft. I think there's some kind of relationship going on there. And good for them if they were able to strike some kind of deal with Nintendo. That's what Microsoft wants to do. That's obviously, I guess I was wrong for the past 2 years when I heard everybody saying they wanted Xbox exclusives, whether it be console or not. Now, none of that's relevant. So Microsoft's going to do what they want to do. Xbox fans are the only ones that are really expected to kind of accept this, because you're not going to see PlayStation games on Xbox or Nintendo, and you're not going to see most likely Nintendo games on anything else. I mean, Nintendo, for Christ's sake, won the NPD with a little mini NES and a mini Super Nintendo. So multiple NPDs, mind you. So they know the value of having something that not everybody can get a hold of.
Yeah.
So I think some people are going to be okay with it. I think some people aren't. I think Microsoft can't really talk pro consumer till they drop that gold membership requirement for free to play games.
Good point.
Good point.
I do think that it's and they have the balls to talk about crossplay and things like that. I'm a big Microsoft fan, but at the end of the day, it all comes down to their dollars and cents, not really pro consumer or choice or anything like that.
Crap. I got to jump in here because
it's whatever makes them the most money at the end of the day, just like all these companies, right? I mean, they all want to make money.
Well, how does Play Anywhere make them more money than not Play Anywhere?
Well, Play Anywhere was just a situation where they had to kind of hedge their bets.
Okay.
And
how does that make them more money than not making them more money?
Well, it doesn't. They had to hedge their bets. Everybody was the hate was out in tremendous force.
Here's what you have in Phil Spencer. You have a guy that historically is a PC guy, right? Unlike most of us, who got into gaming through a lot of PC games, Ultima Online, stuff like that. This guy has said it over and over for years that he wants his games wherever he goes, because as a consumer, anybody should want. And by the way, Sam in the chat, go fuck yourself, bud. This is a guy that definitely wants his games where he wants to go. It's anybody would want that, right? Unless you're a guy that just wants shit to be locked down just to say fuck you. You got to get an Xbox. You want your games to go where you go. $60, multiple platforms, whatever. When it comes to asking for more exclusives, really that's changed to asking for more first party. Ever since Play Anywhere, because we know we're not getting exclusives anymore. That's not happening. So ultimately, your thinking's got to come forward from that 2014 mentality, and you got to think about what benefits you the most.
Well, right? It depends on who's benefiting. Like, I'm not going to use that. I don't use Play Anywhere. I don't. Yeah, I think there's a lot of people that probably aren't going to use that, and I'm fine. To be clear, I'm fine with streaming if people want to.
But most people don't use 4K Netflix. I mean, do you use 4K Netflix?
No.
You don't use 4K Netflix.
I couldn't stream 4K Netflix if I wanted to.
Really?
I don't have the internet for that.
I mean, by the way, the Switch 2 its Wi-Fi adapter can handle well over 10 megs per second, so it'll have no problem doing any kind of xCloud in home.
The thing is, like, I game on my Switch, and you have to be relatively close to the router.
Well, your fucking internet is trash.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just me. I've heard this from multiple people. I'm saying the whole idea is on the go, right? It's on the go, right? It's on the go, right? Supposedly. Yeah. So if you're tied to a Wi-Fi,
strongest handheld.
right? If you're tied to a world's to a Wi-Fi hotspot, you're not really on the go. Like, people have this dream, I'm going to take my Switch on the bus. I'm going to take my Switch on a plane. I'm going to play Xbox games on that. That's not happening, folks.
I play my games on the go. It's like, how often are you on the go? I get that.
You're not. Exactly. Like, you're not playing the Switch on the bus. You're not playing it on the plane. You're not, or you are, but you're not playing Xbox games because you're only supposedly going to be streaming that, which I call kind of BS on anyway. I don't really think that's going to be a thing anymore. You know, I mean, it could be, but if it is, I'll cross that bridge when it gets there. Like, I don't really... You know, it's one of those things. If the change is happening, then it's happening.
Let me bring up one of your points, Crap. Let me bring up one of your points. So let's say this. So we just said in the beginning of the show, or I did anyways. I won't put any words in. I say, if we are seeing that this is the way that gaming is progressing, right? We say this is the future, right? I think, Dealer, you said it's inevitable. I mean, what about Sony? What about Nintendo? I understand we're not talking about it day one because we would have heard some kind of rumor or murmuring.
It's not going to Sony, Mooch.
No, that's not what I mean. I mean, how come Sony's not doing day and date on a PS Now service?
They're not yet.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Do we think that will? It is inevitable.
Yes,
it's inevitable.
We do think they will.
But are we talking about maybe beginning of next generation? Or are we talking about halfway
and the bad
through?
part is when you talk to people about Game Pass, right? People are like, well, Sony will never put their stuff on their day one, like it makes it better. Like, what a bunch of fucking idiots.
Yeah,
do you not
it
realize
makes
that
no
that's
sense.
not as good as being on their day one, right?
Right.
So it's really hard to get people to shift their mentality to think about what benefits them and really just crawl off that little baby dick, whatever the fuck they're riding, and just think about themselves. You know what I'm saying?
You know, if they put games day and date on PS Now, it would make it more appealing to a lot of people. So I don't know.
Well, it would certainly justify a $20 a month price tag.
You know, Luca, let me say this, and it's funny. I've never actually had the question posed to me, but to be honest with you, I have no interest in PS Now. All of a sudden, if I can get The Last of Us, Ghosts, Death Stranding, all for PS Now's price every month, I'm pretty much locked in. And I mean, because I'm the other side, like this, you hear the PlayStation guy saying that about Game Pass. Okay, maybe now I'll try Game Pass because they're putting their first party up there. Now, the one thing Crap has made a good point too is Microsoft is still on the block, right? Because the reason I say they're still under the hot seat is because Microsoft this generation hasn't really given us a first party game that we could say, oh, we sunk our teeth into it and it was amazing. And I'm not talking about meta. I'm just talking about, think about last generation and what Xbox and Sony provided you and Nintendo. This generation, even though I did not think Horizon Zero Dawn, I have Singular Bombastic right here who will tell you it's one of his favorite games this generation.
Yep,
so
loved it. It
is a game, a new IP where Sony came to the table, they put this down, and bang, it's something that people continue to talk about. Xbox hasn't provided that. So the one thing I'd say about Xbox Live and Game Pass going around is that Game Pass is still a question mark. We don't know what the initiative is going to do. We hope they're going to do great things. But really, the compulsion games, I mean, I'm not expecting much out of those guys. Obsidian and these other, right? I'm a realist. The other folks that are Obsidian, them, I think they're going to do really great games, but they're also going to be multi-plats. So, I mean,
let's think about it this way, Mooch. I get what you're saying. Let's do the math, right?
Yeah.
Sea of Thieves. I'm sure you saw my review on that. State of Decay.
I remember playing that game the first week with you, Dealer. I don't have to listen to the review. I got it live.
It's State of Decay. Big State of Decay 1 fan. I figured State of Decay 2 did everything better than the first one, which it did. I had some technical issues, but it was better. I gave it like a 7.5, right? Now, I'm a big fan of the first one. Keep that in mind. Not everyone will feel that way. So let's say one bad game in my opinion, one okay game in my opinion, whatever it is. Right. And then you get Forza Horizon 4. 92 meta, great game, right? But I'm starting to agree, it's just another racing game,
right?
Then you get Crackdown, which I feel like is severely underrated. I don't know why I did not expect to enjoy that game. I'm not a Crackdown fan,
Crackdown, man.
but I enjoy it, right? So, but either way, it got hammered, it got destroyed. But now you got Gears 5 coming up. Now the problem is when you got a Forza Horizon 4, when you get a Gears 5. You're not going to hear any of this shit, this talking about how Game Pass is this, or we don't know, or it's trash, or it's mediocre games. Because those are the games that they actually have good studios and a lot of money behind.
Right.
Kind of like the studios that they just acquired going forward. You know, like in 2020 and up, you're going to have nothing but more well developed games, right? I mean, I think we can all agree that things are only going to improve, right?
Well, you know, I like where you're going with that, but I have to, let me see how you finish right there. You said right with a question mark. And that's the thing, Dealer. My whole thing is that moving into next generation, yes, definitely there's potential, great potential in certain categories. But realistically speaking, Undead Labs, question mark. Compulsion games, question mark. Obsidian, question mark. The initiative, the Coalition and
It's still a
343
question mark.
are really your only like.
Obsidian,
I guess if I had my money,
Ninja Theory.
Obsidian's a good dev.
Obsidian's a good dev, but Obsidian's going to be right now. They're making the Outer Worlds, and
Well, no, they have
that's going to
4
be
teams. Just so you know, they
that
have
is
4.
true.
They
but
have 4 teams.
But 90% of them are working on the Outer Worlds.
And that's a
teams-
multi-platform game, but they are first
Right.
party. I think that'll be hopefully. I mean, the game looked really stiff and stuff. It's always hard to judge a game before it comes out, but hopefully that's a quality game. But I'm just saying that regardless,
it's
the funds have picked
potential.
up. You know, the studios have actually improved in quality from some of the later acquisitions. Their games are rated higher than certainly something like the makers of We Happy Few and things like that. I feel like these services are really stringent upon the quality of that content that Microsoft are going to provide for them. Not to mention, in my opinion, Game Pass $10 a month. Rent one game for a week for $5 or more, or rent 200 almost for $10 for a month. Even without the first party, Game Pass is worth it, in my opinion. But with the first party and certainly with the quality increase, in my opinion, is what we're
I
gonna
agree
get.
with you.
Well,
Whenever you do that value thing, dealer, you always win the conversation as far as a value conversation goes. But the one thing you have to understand too is when Netflix first came out, right? It was still kind of a deal. It was $6.99, $7.99, but the only thing you could stream
it wasn't great. The content was
all you could
limited,
stream was What About Bob and a couple other '80s movies. You know, so
I like What About Bob. All right,
you know. So I mean, never like Bill Murray tied to a sale post. My thing is that I think realistically, right now, we've only got What About Bob in there as far as Microsoft exclusive.
Mooch, check this out. Like,
so I don't know. I wouldn't call.
Maybe a little
Horizon
better. I
I wouldn't
apologize.
call Horizon 2 or 4. What about Bob?
Forza is kind of its own animal,
but
right?
it is becoming, just another racing game. I'm starting to agree.
I agree.
Check this out. You're not going to have, when it comes to first party, you're not going to have every game that drops, whether it's Obsidian, whether it's Ninja Theory, even 343 Coalition. You're not going to have like AAA games all the way through the first party. They grabbed all these development studios to have a range in Game Pass. Like Netflix has a range. They have TV shows, they have international shows, they have big blockbusters, original content, and everything like that. They have a span of so much different content on Netflix, and that's what Xbox is trying to do there. So when you're like, well, I'm not sure about In Exile, and it's like, well, they didn't necessarily pick them up to make a AAA big budget game, but to fill a spot they thought needed to be filled within Game Pass. I think once you get a game out of all of these development studios, people are going to see, wow, that's a wide range of games.
No, I agree.
Xbox, can I just piggyback?
Go ahead,
I want to piggyback on what Xbox is saying because he's making a lot of sense here. First of all, the biggest complaint that I've heard in this generation is that there are no AA studios anymore. It's either indies or AAA. That's all. The AA studios have been completely dissolved. They cannot compete. Well, Microsoft is bringing those studios back with the smaller ones. And you know what? You've been hearing the last couple of days, hashtag 20 by 2020, right? There's rumors and heavy rumors that there's going to be 20 first-party studios by 2020. Okay, I'm not talking about the fact that Obsidian has 4 teams, which has been confirmed that teams 3 and 4 are just starting on new IPs. Okay, we know what the other 2 teams are doing. They have 4 teams. I didn't know that until just the other day. That's a big deal. So, and I kind of want to just bring this whole, I want to kind of turn the car a little bit because we skipped over it. I know that last week, Crap and I and Zolker and a few other people were going hot and heavy about the whole thing. It's going to Sony. Listen, I'm telling you right now, it's not going to the PlayStation 4, 5, 6, or 10. Okay, they're not going to cannibalize what you got to remember, they spent $380 million on Gaikai in 2012. Right? That was to create the View and PlayStation TV and what they have now. They're not going to allow Game Pass on their console. We know, first of all, they won't even allow EA access. You've been hearing,
which actually it is going to.
Well, you know what? It hasn't happened yet, and it's been 7 years.
But to say it won't is, I think, a little bit ignorant, because if you even look at Jez Gordon's article, which, by the way,
he quoted that today that
he did. I know, but he said that Microsoft wanted to. Right.
Wow.
But you also have to keep in mind that maybe it wouldn't be the Game Pass that we have, but maybe just the Xbox exclusives or the console exclusives or whatever, right? And I'm not saying that that's going to happen, because I don't think it's going to happen either. But I can just tell you that there were rumors about it happening, and Microsoft obviously sees 100 million consoles over there. Why wouldn't you? You know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying, like,
there's also 10 times the amount of TVs, 4K TVs.
Yeah, I agree 100%. That's exactly Sony's strategy at the beginning of this generation. They were doing the same thing.
And I mean, make no doubt about it. Phil Spencer said it himself. I literally took this interview and you listen to it. Like he says, I want to put our games and the games of all of our third-party partners on every device that will have it. And clearly was thinking about Sony there. Yes, it would be on Sony's PlayStation right now if it could be, right? Yeah. But Sony will not allow that. I do not believe they will allow that. I think Boom is absolutely right there. And I mean, I think
it'd be cannibalizing themselves, dude.
Yeah, like, hey, Sony, do you mind? Because we all know, anyone who knows anything about this knows that it's not about consoles sold anymore, right? It's about users, like active users, right? Even Sony is switching to this, right?
Yes.
So, hey, Sony, do you mind us putting this app on your PlayStation? All your users could come over and play our games and connect to our Xbox Live to do that? Like, that's what's going to happen. The people realize that. Like, you got to have an Xbox Live account to get into anything to play Game Pass. You're going to have to do all that stuff. So there's no way that Sony are going to let that happen. They won't even let developers do the basics.
Well, I think, like I said, I said it was a rumor. I said that Microsoft wanted to.
They definitely want to.
Yeah, there. You know what I mean? Like, again, it could have been some kind of. There can always be some kind of agreement made. If you listen to the way Sean Layden talks lately, he talks like, not competing platform and things like that. I do think that they're going to start talking about monthly active users more, but I also think as long as Sony's winning, they're going to always talk about how many consoles they've sold. That's just a Sony thing.
Just like
they talk about
right.
Yeah, well, Microsoft used to, but when they obviously, it's easy to go back and find 360 sales numbers, right? In 2007, they sold over 20 million consoles that year. You can go back and find those numbers because Microsoft was talking about them. Now they're not talking about them because it doesn't really fit their narrative. And I think that's fine. But I do think that, especially if Sony gets off to a hot start next gen, they'll talk about both.
What's more important now, crap. Well, how many people unlocked this achievement while eating a piece of French toast on a Saturday?
I agree 100%. Ham sandwich eaters killing zombies one-handed with the Elite controller in one hand and an Elite
27 billion people unlocked the Seriously 2.0 achievement while eating grilled cheese on a Saturday.
Exactly. I mean that's what it's going to come down to for Microsoft, right? Like, and I find that I love that. I love those when they do that because they're funny. But it's like, for me, I don't know. I still see Sony touting those numbers a lot, like Horizon Zero Dawn, 10 million. Like, even I sit back and go, holy shit, that's a lot of damn sales for that mediocre game, in my opinion.
Well,
now.
Let me say this much, guys. Moving on with what we're saying, okay? I mean, we are all in the hardcore camp. I say this all the time. People in the chat, people listening later, people on the panel. You guys are hardcore. So a lot of times, even myself, I take my vote out. I take a lot of votes out that I know because we are all knowing what's going on. Listen to us. We're talking about stuff that's going to happen 6 months from now. Then we're talking about stuff that's 2 years from now. The casual gamer is just coming to terms. Hear me out. They're just coming to terms with what? Digital purchases, right? This is 2013 stuff. They really are, because GameStop's still alive. They're still open, barely, but they're still open. So my point is that when we say, hey, it's inevitable, the thing I think is that Sony waiting and letting Microsoft go first, usually when you're first to the party, it's the way to go. It seems like in this business, coming in second in some of these technological advances is to your benefit. Let the audience boo and hiss those people, and then once they come around, we'll join the party. Because I think really when PS5 launches, I don't know. I mean, and you guys might disagree with me. I think PS5 is going to jump out to a hefty start.
Mooch, that's why I call like this next series of hardware that's coming out. I know on Sony's side you might consider it next gen, but with Xbox they're like, we're doing away with generation. So the next series of hardware that's coming out, I'm telling people, if this is the time to really jump on if you don't have a this generation console, because I feel like this series coming out is the series of
Xbox. Did we lose you?
It's a really compelling story.
That was an interesting point. I'll finish it for him, though.
But,
I really think I think the one thing to think about, though,
that we're seeing
coming out. You back?
Yeah, what's up? Did I cut out?
Yeah, you cut out.
Yeah, you were botting.
Oh,
and then you just cut out, dude. Totally.
Your X
nothing.
button.
crap, you know that's
Yes.
natural, man. But no, basically,
Yeah.
that's the next series of hardware is coming out. It's all about options. You're gonna
Yeah.
have all the options, the ones that are gonna lead towards, like when I said that younger generation really makes themselves the staple of the consumer base. They spend the most money and stuff like that. You have their road, you have the traditional road, you have the digital road that you said, casuals are just getting used to. This is the series to jump on when it comes to Scarlet and PlayStation 5.
Well, that may be the truth, but Luca, let me ask you a question, Luca. Don't you have
What's
some
that?
friends that are like you would call, quote unquote, I do, casual gamers?
Yes, I do. Absolutely.
Okay, so you know all of us. You know us all very well. And what do
Yes.
we always say to you? Oh, Luca, you know what I got? I got a 2 terabyte external. I got an 8 terabyte external hooked up behind my 2 terabyte. I'm floating between 10, 15 terabytes. Go up to your casual friend and be like, hey, I got an 8 terabyte drive. You want to borrow this? And you can. They'll be like, 8?
They're like, huh?
What? I got 2
Yeah.
games on my console. So what I'm trying, my point being is that what Xbot and dealer and crap, what we're all talking about, I'm trying to take a step back. Where's the consumer? Not where's all the people at E3 thinking, what are all the YouTubers thinking? Take a step back, right? What's the guy who just started picking up gaming like 2 years ago who's walking into GameStop still being like, is digital really a thing? Like, there's still people like that out there. So when we're talking about having Xbox put all their games on this type of a service, right? And we say that's the way it is, I get where we say that's natural progression. But is it natural progression 2019 or is that natural progression 2023?
You know what that is I talk to some extremely casual people out and about, when I'm doing things. And if I mention even a hint as to what Game Pass actually is, and then I tell them $10, they're like, what the fuck?
Right.
Yep.
I just paid $10 for this old piece of shit used game from 4 years ago.
Right.
Yes.
Like I see, I
But
think
here's
it
my
goes the
question
other
to
way
you,
as well,
Dealer.
where people don't know this stuff exists, and they're
Dealer,
like,
have
holy
you
shit.
have you followed up with that individual?
Yeah.
Have
They
you
want
said-
an Xbox just for Game Pass.
But here's my thing, and don't get me wrong, it's not like me and you are going to be the census, right, for Xbox moving forward. But I mean, realistically speaking, like I've said the same thing to my friends, and they're like, they say what you say at work. They're like, holy shit, my kids would love this. I actually wouldn't mind that. That's pretty cool. And then 3 weeks later, I'm like, hey, did you pick up Game Pass? Not yet. Right?
Yeah.
And it's like, they don't, because
And they're so casual. Like if
They're
they're
so casual, it
affected
still
by
doesn't hit
this
their
whole digital
radar.
thing, then that's fine. But they're so
And, listen,
at the end of the day, it's not that big of a
don't
market,
take
really.
my I always say this all the time. Xbox is the one that gives me a hard time with this. Don't take my examples, because saying 3-4 of Mooch's friends, that's not a census. That's not an actual pool of people you can Xbox will argue with me. They're like, Mooch, let me tell you something. I asked all the kids in the neighborhood, okay? And they all said they
I
wanted
hunted them down. They thought I was trying. I don't know
Right?
that.
No,
Yeah,
I'm like, Xbox, that's one census I can't topple. But I mean, my thing is that I think that we are all right. I think some of the things we're saying is correct. But when it comes down to it, next November or whenever the PS5 and Xbox Scarlet launch.
Yeah, but we don't even know. I mean, there was an analyst from Japan that said the PS5 may not launch till 2021.
I don't believe
I'm
him.
not buying
I don't
it.
believe him.
I'm just saying it. Listen, but it's a news story. Everyone's assuming that Sony's going to be out there. Listen, we don't know anything for sure. All I can tell you is this. I got to be honest with you. The last couple of weeks, I've been sitting on this podcast, and I've been a little slightly quiet.
I noticed that.
How
makes me
anyone
nervous.
on this panel cannot be excited about the Xbox brand completely blows my fucking mind.
There you go. Boom.
Okay, there's the
Well,
F-bomb
tell
that
me-
everybody
well,
wanted to hear.
That officer friendly's leaving real quick.
No, I mean it is
And he's got a gun.
unbelievable how everyone has jumped off the bridge because of all of this. Like I said, last week
Hey,
was
not everybody, brother.
no, not everyone. That's right, because you are part of the ex-defense force.
Yeah, there we go.
You know what I'm
my
saying?
Hand, I'm putting
Tell
my hand on
him.
X right
I'm
now.
just
man.
saying- Yeah, I'm just saying that it's unbelievable how every stone for negativity has been turned up for Xbox, and look. Like, all I'm going to say is this: there is going to be a lot of people eating a lot of crow, and when that happens, I'm going to be taping it and making GIFs out of it and putting it on the internet for everyone to enjoy. So get ready.
We don't need another Spielberg. Listen, hold on. Okay, here's boom. Listen.
I don't even know what that means. At this point.
Everybody's taping, recording. Everybody, listen. Here's my thing. Boom. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong at all. I think that the one thing you have to understand is that, first of all, Microsoft is always under scrutiny. right?
Yes,
so
for
when
sure.
you say Microsoft getting doom and gloom, I mean, geez, we'd have to go back to the 90s, right? How far back are we? It was 95, Windows 95 when things just went south. I don't know, but for some reason, I think that when you think about what we're discussing, I do think that you do have to look at both arguments. Everybody's case seems to hold a little bit of water. That's the one thing I have to push forward. Is it's not one person is better or more right than the other. I think the technological advances is where we're going, right? Like we all said that. I said this to crap on MNC. Do you remember when the iPhone? And I know there's a lot of people on the panel don't like iPhone. I get it. But in 2007, when the iPhone came out, I'm not using that. What if I drop it? You're telling me $600 every time I drop. Every time I drop my phone now, and then there's somebody else. I'm not getting rid of my slide-up keyboard.
And the next day you're in the gym, and then your music mutes itself, and you get a phone call on it. You're like,
right. Fuck, right? Exactly.
Yep.
So, I mean, people are like, I'm never doing that. Now we've all got those types of phones. So it always takes this, right now, technological revolution that takes place that gets people to move forward. But it takes years, people. In 2007, when the iPhone came out, it was heckled. It was booed. It was hissed.
Hey, you know, you're right, Mooch. It does take years, but here's the best part: is if you are one of those that doesn't have access to the bandwidth to anything else to play your games on,
you
don't have to do it.
You don't.
That's right.
That's the part that I applaud, is that you have. Listen, guys, there's no better time to be living right now than right now, right? Literally, it's 28 degrees in New York right now. There's somebody eating an ice cream with the air conditioning on and the windows down. It's the generation of options. You can do whatever the hell you want. You know, back in the 50s, somebody would actually punch you when you got out of the car for that. You know, you can't do that. You can do whatever you want nowadays. You're right. We have options, people. So these are good things. No, realistically, we've got an amazing panel. Clowns, let me ask you, Clowns, because you're the one who hasn't sounded off, because I want to move to another topic. We've all beaten this one to death. Clowns, what's your take on what you think is going to be Xbox come next generation with these rumors?
I think all the rumors are going to end up being true. I think Xbox is prepared for the future. I think xCloud is going to be a huge hit. I think 5G is going to make everything successful. So I think it's going to be great. I don't think there's anything to worry about. People are just worried because they don't want to move forward.
Yeah, no, I think you make a good point there. Let me move on to another subject here, because we had a great panel here tonight. And, you know, shout out to Basement Arcade Radio Podcast. We've got my buddy Enrique in the chat. Enrique's like, great point, Mooch. And now he's going to be like, Mooch, I hate this next subject. It is not media bias by no means, but I do have to bring up the media. And
for
some reason, no.
Damn it.
It's the lack of respect that they kind of deserve right now. And I think we have great people like Crap Gamer and Dealer on the channel right now. Okay. And they'll tell you how much better their reviews are doing and how many more people they're getting to their channels, mainly because these are people that play video games. And whether you like what they play or not, or what their opinions are, guess what? They're giving you their heartfelt opinions. They wear them on their sleeves.
Oh, shoot.
And I watched
reviews.
I watched Ryan McCaffrey.
I don't do that many reviews, Xbot.
Well, you've done your opinion.
I don't do that many Xbot.
No, but nonetheless, I think I watched just recently Ryan McCaffrey, and you know, total respect to the guy. Whatever. He interviewed Bonnie Ross from 343, and I don't know if you guys saw the 6-minute clip about, you know, they were talking about how Halo Infinite is using the new engine. If you just, everybody after the show, please, after the show, do check out that 6-minute clip. You only have to watch the first minute and a half. The guy can't even interview the girl. You know, he's just kind of like, he's stuttering over the first thing. And I'm like, come on, ask the girl the question. Ask the lady the question. She is an executive. Like, you have to be prepped. And I think a lot of people feel that IGN has lost a little bit of mustard.
They've lost a lot of mustard.
You know, and I think that, like, I'm like, you have to ask Miss Ross, right? You have to give her the benefit. When I'm going to sit there with an executive, I'm going to look over my notes. I'm going to have my questions. Me and Crap interviewed Craig Duncan from Rare Studios. We rehearsed things. We discussed things ahead of time. We had the show planned out, and we asked him question after question after question. And I'm not saying, listen, I am not the gaming media. I just do a podcast and I love video games. And actually, Craig Duncan's a hell of a guy. Awesome. One of the most awesome people to hang out with in a podcast and post-podcast. But my point being is that you have to be prepared. And when you see someone like Ryan talking to, you know, Bonnie, and just the whole thing just seemed off. And now you have the whole thing with Ryan McCaffrey and Destin Legary when they were discussing the Crackdown 3 review. And it was just, you know, this doesn't feel right. This isn't good. This isn't right. I didn't care for this. I didn't like that. And it's like, I used to go to IGN for the good, the bad, and the ugly. Now you get the ugly and the bad. right? And there's
They
very
lost
little
all their
good.
talent, Mooch. That's
Right, and I think a lot of talents left have done their own show.
Look. Here's the thing, dude. Okay, I'm not picking on anybody. I'm not even going to mention
No.
names. The bottom line, very simply, is this. Okay, the YouTube community, and I talked about this on Breakfast with Boom this morning. Right there, you have your million sub people. Right, they're, the people that yell, the people that just have millions upon millions of subs. Right.
There's nothing wrong with yelling.
No, there's certainly not. And you've proven that, sir. You've proven that very well. But my point is that even though they have all of these millions of subs, and it's great, they have a certain way that they handle their fans, and that's awesome. But YouTube has expanded in such a way where a lot of the smaller channels who have thousands, opposed to the millions, are now coming out with show after show, and the talent, on YouTube is untapped. There are so many people with so many incredible opinions that have all these different shows. I mean, I think I have 30 shows, ready to go at any given time. And the problem with big houses like IGN is that, when there's smoke, there's fire mode. Very simply, the old guard, most of the old guard is gone. All of their younger, popular, more, spruce, I guess, talent is gone. They're all doing their own things. And you know what? You've heard a lot of things coming out. Remember that whole big sexual misconduct thing going on in IGN. Now, whether that was true or not, I don't know. But you had that. Now you have all of these female journalists leaving. Obviously it started.
Boom's being messy right now.
No. I'm being a gentleman about it.
You're
But
right.
I mean,
You're right.
He's thinking about his words. He can hear it, man. He's like,
But you know what? There's a problem at IGN, and I got to be honest with you. I didn't see this interview that you're talking about, but it makes me sad because supposedly, in air quotes, Ryan McCaffrey's part of the old guard, and if he can't, interview someone like a Bonnie Ross without stuttering, I think that's embarrassing.
It's not to say stutter. He just it just wasn't. It looked like it wasn't rehearsed. It looked like it wasn't. You didn't take the time. And I go to IGN. I still go to IGN. I do. And maybe shame on me. You guys may not like that. I do. I go to IGN because they are the news source, right? So I go there, and I was actually interested. I saw the headline. It wasn't clickbait by no means. It was talking about how Halo Infinite is going to utilize their new engine and why they went there. And he couldn't get the first question out. And then after he couldn't get the first question out, he also took a jab at Halo 5. Again, you have an executive sitting there. You have to put your personal feelings aside and ask the executive a professional question. I had my feelings about Sea of Thieves before Sea of Thieves came out. But when Craig was on, we asked him questions that pertain to the game.
Thank you, Mooch.
I mean, that's all I'm trying to get a point across to.
Mooch, this generation of gaming has corrupted a lot of places. When you look at it, this generation really, came to be when social media is it's a staple in everybody's lives. And now it's all about clicks and likes and everything like that, and less about actual like factual information, and it's all opinion pieces and things that will get them views. Which
it's really unfortunate. I'm sorry to interrupt Xbox, but it's really unfortunate, and it's like these journalists would rather put their own spin on things or do dumb shit. Like, I'm sorry, I'm gonna bring it up. This woman wrote an article called "Apex Legends has 2 black women in it, and I don't know how to feel about it." And I'm like, what does it have to do with the game?
Oh my! I didn't even see that, Luca.
What's the gameplay? Like, what are you even saying right now? It's like no one is actually focusing on the games. They're focusing on the
I don't know how to feel about it. That's
I mean, literally. No one actually wants to focus on the games and the mechanics and what's going on with them. Everyone wants to add this bullshit to it. Like, this game hurt my feelings and made me feel.
So she does know how to feel, but she's just being a little fuck bitch.
She's just being a fuck bitch, dude. Like, it's ridiculous. I just honestly, when I look at the news, I just want you to report the fucking news. I don't want to hear your goddamn feelings about it.
It was news, Luca. Jeez, somebody learned how to count.
And I mean, you guys think about it. We've all on this panel been gaming for so long. You guys remember when you used to go to IGN for the actual review of a game? It was the pros and cons of the technical aspects, maybe some of the story, and what was wrong with the game from the perspective that the developers promised A and you got B. Okay. And then there was a rating process. And that genuinely helped me on some of the games I bought or didn't buy. Not always. I mean, I'll give you news, and we're going to talk about it a little bit later. But Borderlands 3 could come out and get a 62. I'm buying it.
Right.
I love Borderlands.
Well, you're a diehard gamer also. That's the difference.
I buy the games. I play the games. And listen, I'm much like Dealer said, I didn't think I was going to like Crackdown 3. I'm 20 hours deep into the single player. Are you crazy?
Love Crackdown, man.
Well, I'm playing it. I hold the mirror up. I'm like, are you nuts? Like, I can't believe this is happening.
You know, Mooch, can I just take 5 minutes if you don't mind?
Please.
You know, I want to read something, and I want to see if this emulates what the current crop of journalists are in in gaming. I want to see if any of what I'm going to read is what we have out there, and we'll understand what the problem is. I pulled this excerpt from Journalism Ethics and Standards, and it says this: professional integrity is the cornerstone of a journalist's credibility. The Radio and Television Digital News Association, an organization exclusively centered on electronic journalism, maintains a code of ethics centering on public trust, truthfulness, fairness, integrity, independence, and accountability. Everything I read just now does not exist in the media right now, and that's the problem.
Yeah, agree 100%, man.
That is what's missing.
That is the biggest problem. Everyone wants to put their opinion on the game instead of reviewing a game for the game.
Listen, the gaming media, I've said this also on MNC. I've said it last week. I'll say it again. Guys, it's not just the gaming media. It's media in general. There's no more journalism. It's just opinions. I mean, let me ask Dealer. Let me go to Dealer because Lucas spoke her mind. Dealer, what do you think about this? Where are you right now in 2019 from 2011, 2010, getting your information or some news from the gaming media? Is there a difference to you? You see no difference?
Is Xbot 448. Go ahead.
I'm sure he's not going to say that, but I would love to hear it.
Go ahead.
Did we lose Dealer?
Dealer's
probably we may have lost him. But I mean, I myself personally, Boom, I think I'm really glad you read that. I think there's been a huge problem between 2011 and today. And I genuinely used to go to them for that. And I know, Boom, you've kind of had a run-in and a discussion going on Twitter for a long time. And this is not a media bias thing. It's totally not. This is just a lack of gaming journalism. Crap, what do you feel about this? Have you seen any kind of a delta from the days of maybe the mid 360 era to today? Or, I mean, is it the same?
They used to just cover video games, developers and talking about how they're making the games. And now they don't really talk about any of that stuff. It's a bit unfortunate, but there's always other places you can go now. And I think that that's why these places are competing with places like YouTube and things like that. So I kind of understand that aspect, but at the same time, they give people what they want, I guess, nowadays, right? Like people want that Jerry Springer type mentality, hey, let's talk. And if you talk bad about Xbox or whatever, you're going to get Xbox fans defending it, and you're going to get PlayStation fans in there agreeing with it. And there's more PlayStation fans than Xbox fans. Yeah. And that's basically how it's going to happen, and so it's easy pickings for them, and it just, like, we've already seen it with what's going on with that, like, Polygon was making fun of Xbox. It's like, like all these places will poke fun, and that's not going to change next gen. Next gen, you're going to see a very strong narrative towards the PlayStation 5. A little bit more traditional console. Those big time exclusives and stuff. Like Sony and Nintendo are always going to get that little extra pat on the back because they've been around longer, and people that are in the news and that are reporters and journalists, they grew up with those a lot more than Xbox. Xbox came in as being like this outsider, and even you have some journalists who don't even want Xbox in the gaming world. Right. I wouldn't be surprised if next gen they review Xbox exclusives on a streaming device instead of the native Xbox, right? Like, it wouldn't shock me at all.
You did some Samsung refrigerator.
Exactly. It looks like crap. I can't believe it. Only.
But I got my.
I hear you, crap, but I do not think. And I got to get a shout out to Leaky G. What's going on, brother? Lethal Papa, Cole, all you guys. I've got to say though that people are forgetting about these job listings. That are real. And people are like, that's not a real story. It's a job listing. It's a real thing from Sony saying, hey, we're bringing the PS Now to every device. If you don't like it or you don't believe me, just Google it. It's real. These guys are the ones who introduced streaming your games to TVs, PlayStation TV devices, PS3, PS4, PC, and more. right? So one would think that Sony, this is why they bought Gaikai. They were ahead of Microsoft here. They just did not execute it properly. Your games are going to a fucking cell phone as well. And it blows my mind that people think Sony are this company that do not want to make more money. They have less ways of making money than Microsoft. They want to make money more badly than Microsoft, and they will do that any way they can. Your games will come to PS Now day one. Eventually, PS Now will come to every mobile device, just like these job listings are saying, and you'll be just as fucked as everyone else, according to your own logic.
Yeah. No, I mean, there's something to that. The question is when, though, Dealer? I think what you said is 100%.
2 years, 3 years, it doesn't matter. The difference is we had the option sooner and at most likely a higher quality.
Well, the thing is with PlayStation, like they don't have the infrastructure that Microsoft and Xbox has to put it all together. That's why you see Xbox coming out with it first. But Dealer was right. They are hiring people over there in PlayStation Nation. They want to get it done as much as Xbox does, and then it might not be right out the gate, but a couple of years down the line.
And Xbox, you're right. Infrastructure is different. Not many companies have the infrastructure to compete with Microsoft, but the difference is, you heard somebody tell you, and let me ask, I can ask the whole panel real quick. You heard somebody tell you PS Now or PlayStation Network rather was better than Xbox Live, right?
Yeah.
All right. They don't know the goddamn difference between their PSN and xCloud because they most likely haven't tried it. So why would they know? Why would they care? It's kind of like staying to a little $20 pair of headphones or a badass $200 pair of Audio Technicas. The $20 headphone guy doesn't know the difference. He doesn't care. He doesn't know what he's missing out on. So those guys will do the same thing they've done with PSN.
Well, let me, and it's funny because one of the topics I have is going into next generation hardware. So, I mean, here's my thing. And I mean, Dealer, I saw your video. I saw that you tweeted it out. You're in the midst of either revamping your PC, right? You're getting new parts. I just built a PC.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all
right.
Good.
So, but here's my thing. So what is if you're somebody that's going to go out there and be in that world, where's your motivation to put $500 down on a Scarlet? I mean, and not take yourself out of the hardcore position. I just want you to be Dealer. I don't have a YouTube channel. I play video games. Well, he can stream on.
Well, for one, I know what you're getting at. Why playing on Xbox?
Right.
And what you got to ask yourself.
I'm asking the question. It's not,
I get it. Right now, as I said recently, I got a PS4 Pro X1X and a Threadripper 2950X and a RTX 2080 rig. Right. I've got every option available to me. And now, and I think this is something people are forgetting. Yes, it's about the games. But you got to remember, motherfuckers play more than just Forza and Crackdown 3. If it's all about the games and only the games from the first party, I'm guessing what people's meaning is why the fuck are you on Xbox? We haven't had games in 2 years. So you might want to get off of Xbox and go somewhere where you can play those exclusives that most of you still haven't beat. Have you beat God of War? No, I have, because I care about those experiences. That's why I got a PlayStation. But if I could play that on my PC, why would I get a PlayStation? And furthermore, why would Sony care? You guys got to remember that these consoles are just a big, inexpensive inconvenience to the consumer just to get this thing into your house so they can really sell you what really makes them the money, which is the software. They don't care where you're playing their games.
Now, would you agree?
As long as you play them.
Would you agree a little bit that I would say Sony, if we're tipping the scale, Sony cares a little bit more about you buying their hardware because that's their business.
Right now, yes.
We say Microsoft's in the software business. In all respect, Sony's in the hardware.
But you got to remember that the fact that the Xbox One X didn't sell and they knew it wouldn't sell as much as the regular Xbox One S or the base model Xbox did not affect the quality of that product. In fact, it's the best console ever made. It doesn't matter. As long as the games are available on it, it's going to sell. The performance is there. The engineering's there. The options are there. If you're like me, you might buy all of them or maybe only one if you're like someone else. That's completely fine. The point is they do not care where you play them. As long as you play them, that's what makes them the money. They don't make any money on this damn console. They literally take a loss on many of these consoles. They literally lose money when Billy down the street goes and buys an Xbox. In the past, they've literally lost $100 bill on everyone they've sold.
Right.
They don't care about any of that.
They make it on the software. I mean, we all know that. And the thing is I think we all know that, but we all forget that. I think that's what it comes down to. No, realistically, I completely agree with you guys. Let's switch subjects real quick here, guys. And I mean, this is just kind of a fun thing, to be honest with you. So everybody a few weeks ago was all on the Apex train, right? Apex Legends is out. And I got my buddy Brutal, who's in the chat, who I've been playing Apex like crazy. And I got to be honest with you, Apex has completely brought me back to Battle Royale. I love the idea of it. I was enjoying it through Blackout. There was a couple things here and there where I thought Blackout could improve on, and Apex shows up out of nowhere, and all of a sudden it's fantastic. But the one thing I reminded everybody, and I think this is kind of like Dealer would say something like this, and I said, guys, let's just remember something, okay? Fortnite is still Fortnite. It has a tremendous following. It has a young following, right? Something Xbot always kind of toots his horn about. Has a young following. So I said, just wait. Let's see what happens when Season 8 comes out. So Season 8 comes out, and boom, Fortnite's on top again. Right?
Yeah,
and
it's
I'm
like the second day that it's out, though, brother. Like,
it doesn't matter. Everybody was like, Fortnite's dead the second day of Apex.
Check this out. When it came to January, revenue for Fortnite was down 48%, and that was before Apex came out. Now, what do you mean? What is the reason for that number?
It was down. It was still number 1 on Twitch. I mean, it doesn't matter. It was still doing it.
There's a kink in this armor here, and I feel like what it is yes, you have a fresh season, so everybody went back to check it out to see what it has to offer. Let's see what happens a couple weeks down the line, because I have a feeling.
Well, I said the same thing about Apex. I said let's wait a few weeks to see what happens once Fortnite comes out with their new season. I mean, what do you guys think about this? And this is not if you like Apex or you like Fortnite. I'm discussing the fact that like everyone is always. I'm just not a huge fan of like when we had the Chicago Bulls that made sports with Chicago Bulls, right? When they had their run in the 90s, the Yankees had their run. Okay, the New England Patriots had their run. No matter what subject we're talking about, okay, they had their run. Everybody's like, let's get them up there and let's drag them back down. I was just kind of looking and waiting, and Fortnite's not going anywhere. And why would we want it to go anywhere? Right? I mean, I think it's a great game. I think people have fun with it. I look forward to playing it with the family every once and again. I think Apex is more for the hardcore crowd, no doubt. But I mean, Dealer, do you see what I'm going? Like the minute that Apex came out, they're like, Fortnite's dead.
Yeah, everyone's in the
Bring out your dad.
It's hyperbolic statement. Sorry to interrupt, Dealer.
No, go.
They do this with everything. Literally everything. Anthem gets announced. Destiny Killer, it's over.
Yes, thank you.
It's done. It's finished.
Over. Dead.
It's like the UFC, some undefeated fucking legend gets beat for the first time ever. Oh, fuck that guy.
Yep.
Yeah, and the next fight, his stock goes right back up, right?
Yes. Like it's just something that kind of killed me. And I thought that, listen, here's the thing that Fortnite does that they do so well, guys. Fortnite and Epic literally rob ideas from everybody.
Yes, I was going to bring that up. Good. I know where you're going. Yes.
They rob everything. And it's funny because, listen, I'm a mooch. You got to appreciate something like that. I can't believe that this is legal. I can't believe it. You even had Bluehole came out and was like, no, it's ours. And the courts were like, no, it ain't.
Someone's like, you stole that from us.
Right? It's like, I can't believe this. All of a sudden, you have the respawn areas. What do? Respawn areas. Apex comes out with these great ideas, and Epic wasn't threatened at all. They're like, hey, that's really good. Jimmy, make a respawn area. No, just put it on top of a van. They won't know the difference. And that's what happened. And boom, here we are today. So, I mean, my whole thing is that, like, I was just absolutely amazed. And Luca, great example. Like, Luca is a die-hard Destiny fan. And let me tell you something. When I say that, I mean it. Luca, you are seriously on Destiny. I actually go through my friends list, and I'm like, Luca, you're still playing that? It's still there. And I'm like, oh my God. But at the same
Girls
time,
on the dumpster. Yeah.
Like literally though, like one of those possums or whatever, just eating trash. Listen, the game is fun. New DLC's coming out next week. And honestly, Xbot, from your point earlier, as soon as they bring out new content, people will come back. That's just how it is with all games, man.
Yeah, and all I'm saying now in terms of it, I'm not saying Fortnite is dead. I feel like all these BRs, they all have a certain audience that they can all cater to, and everything could be great. I'm just saying that before Apex even came out, Epic was seeing a loss in revenue, and when the developers and publishers start seeing a loss in revenue, they're like, man, we need to do something, which is why they basically gave Season 8 for free as well. You see what I'm saying? So they took the steps necessary to kind of like stop the bleeding at that point. But when you have them trying to stop the bleeding, that's saying something about the game moving into the future as well.
Does it really matter though? I mean, at the end of the day, who gives a shit, right?
Yeah, I don't play the game anyway, man.
Yeah, Mooch, did you see that they added the ping system to Fortnite?
I did not see that, but it does not surprise me at all.
Yeah, they just announced it today. They added the pink. It's a guy pointing.
Yeah, when Halo Infinite comes out, all of a sudden they're gonna have a character, like Master Chef or something like that.
They're gonna respawn on top of a van, right?
Listen, shout out to my boy Brutal who's in the chat. Me and Brutal have been playing a lot of Apex since it came out, and I'll say this much: so the ping system came out, and everybody was like, "Wow, that's revolutionary." Myself personally, I didn't think it was revolutionary. I just thought they brought a dead idea back to life. And everybody was like, that's what you do, Mooch. Okay? Not everybody can talk. I've never played with a bunch of mimes before. We all talk.
Randos, man. Randos.
Let me tell you about randos. Okay? There's a reason that Xbox Party Chat grew in popularity and Game Chat has dropped. Because here's the
arguably that ruined Xbox Live in a way.
Well, I'll tell you right now, I honestly think that Dealer playing Apex Legends with randoms and using just the ping system is literally, it's like playing see no evil, hear no evil, like tell no evil or whatever it is. Like it is an absolute mess of a game. It's hard. It's hard, right? I play with somebody in Hawaii, somebody in Florida, somebody in New York.
Trying to signal over there as the bullets are going through their forehead. Yeah.
You should see me playing with randos. I can see their little microphones moving, which means they're talking to somebody. I'm like, you can hear me. I know you can hear me. We're going left. Turn left. And I'm really screaming that loud. But I mean, the thing about it is I think that the ping system is great. It's nice that it's there. It's like one of those things. It's kind of like cruise control, folks. Okay? Maybe it's because I got a New York lead foot and I drive fast. Cruise control is really nice, but I don't got time for that. I got somewhere to go. I got to get there. Luca, you know what I'm talking about. Luca drives 1,000,000 miles an hour.
We don't have to talk about my driving abilities.
I wanted to just get that in there.
Luca just looking for more challenge, driving with her eyes closed and shit. That's all.
Right. Well, Brutal's in the chat saying he's won a ton of games with randoms. I'll tell you something, Brutal. You are good at that game. Everybody doesn't know Brutal. He is fantastic at that game. Check him out. He's going to be streaming later tonight. I might jump into his chat. But to be honest with you, I just think that the ping system isn't that great of a technology. It's kind of like an old technology we brought back, and it just hasn't been utilized correctly. So I guess if you don't have a headset, welcome to 2019. This would have been a great conversation for 2014. I don't know about 2019.
I think it's good for people. I was listening to the Skill Up's review of it, and he said it's good for people who have like social anxiety and that kind of stuff. Or, you just don't want to talk on the mic, because I definitely don't want to talk to people on the mic if I'm not in a party. So, it's not for you. It's for whoever wants to utilize it. So
I'm definitely a talker, if you guys haven't noticed.
Yeah, yes, you're definitely a talker.
Yeah, I'm not afraid of that. And I encourage talking. It's good for all of you. But nonetheless, let me get into this. So this is something I can't wait to get into on the panel, because we were talking about it before the show, and I actually asked everybody to please not get into it before the show because I wanted to get live reactions. So we've got the Division 2 open beta this weekend, but I want to kind of move past the open beta and talk about the Division 2.
Anthem?
We'll get to that in a second. Oh, believe me, I'm going to work that in. The Division 2 is coming out, and Mooch, as you guys know, was just not a huge fan of the Division 1. I think they had a lot of problems. I think they fixed some of those. They right the ship on certain categories. Some they're still working on. But realistically speaking, here's why I think, and you see people right now, there's people who don't even like to play MMO-style games. They're like, I can't wait for the Division 2. I bought 6 copies. Why? Right? So, right, you're one of them, Boombastic. I'm coming to you first, Boom. Boom, here's my pitch. I think a lot of people, whoever's watching TV in the background during my show, stop it!
Yeah,
all right,
how
thank
disrespectful.
You. Come on!
Jesus.
Right. Next thing, here we go. Guys, boom, here's my whole deal. I think the Division 2 is getting hype. I think it's getting a lot of hype because Anthem kind of let people down.
Yeah, that could be, right? For sure.
I think you're getting a lot of Anthem people that thought they were going to be putting 200, 300, 400 hours into that game.
Hey, hang on, Mooch. One sec.
Go ahead.
Are you telling me all the people that was damage control on Anthem maybe should learn from this experience?
Possibly.
Okay. That's good, man. That's really good.
Listen, Anthem, I've kind of remained a bit silent on Anthem, to be honest with you, Dealer. I'm enjoying it. I like it. But I don't know if it's necessarily going to lock me down for 150 hours. Realistically, someone speaking, 80 hours even. Mm-hmm. I think it's going to get you in that 30 to 40 hour, and then we're ready to move on. That's a me problem. I'm not saying that's the public. That's a me issue.
When they come out with cataclysms and everything like that.
Why are they waiting? Wow, that's not what this game needed at all. Fuck.
Why are they waiting till May, though? Oh, my God.
It's not ready. It's
not ready. The game, I don't even know if the game was ready even the release when it did.
About the game. we're not ready.
Well, guys, chime in. I was going to.
Well, you know what, Mooch,
fan, but...
to answer your question about Destiny, about the Division 2.
Oh, you can talk about Destiny 2. Boom, go ahead.
What Ubisoft has done is they have put Endgame in everyone's face.
Okay, yes, they
for
did.
weeks, for months, right? They've been talking about it. They've been streaming it. They've been having, live streams, co-streams, you name it. The private beta came out. Yeah, okay, it had a couple of issues. They immediately rectified it. They let you try all of the end game stuff. Here's a couple of missions here. Here's the 4v4 here.
Right.
Here's Dark Zone 1 here. Giving you a shot. And now, and this one is opening it up even more, where you're going to get to see what the after level 30 weapons are. The rocket, the grenade launcher, the crossbow, and it's
very smart.
Yes, it's absolutely.
Because for people like me and Boom and Mooch and Xbot. Well, actually, I don't know how many looter shooters you play, but for people who play looter shooters,
Destiny 2 and Anthem. That's pretty much it.
Okay, so for people who play looter shooters,
the same game, all right.
The end game is what's most important, and it's kind of like you want to play a game that you can go back to over and over and over again and get invested in that gameplay loop. Them showing us what the end game is going to consist of is great because it's like, okay, I know what the fuck I'm going to be doing in 40 hours. This is amazing. So I think what they've been doing is genius. They've improved upon Division 1 in every way. And I'm going to say, like Mooch, I wasn't interested in Division either. I was like, what the fuck is this?
Right.
Boring ass shit. But I'm interested in this one and I'm going to pick it up.
So Luca
tried the private beta and I liked it. So
Luca, you and I feel kind of the same here. And I think that we're both, I hear you speaking, you sound like me. No shock there.
Yeah.
But I want to ask you because I really want to get your take from it. Do you feel like though with the Division, even though I think they're going to do some great things, and I think they're more prepared than they were in the first one, because it's not like sci-fi or it doesn't have that outer world feel. I kind of feel like after 30, 40 hours, a semi-automatic machine gun. You might have a more powerful semi-auto machine gun, but I'm like, I don't care if you have a semi-auto that's more better than mine. Do you see what I'm saying? It seems like it may get a little redundant. How do you feel about the redundancy?
You know what? That's a good question. I don't know. I haven't thought about it, but that's a good point because I remember talking to a couple of my buddies and I said, I'm not, before I played the beta, I was like, I'm not sure about the Division. It looks, you can't, I don't know. It seems kind of boring,
Yeah.
And, I definitely see where you're coming from because I do like that sci-fi-esque look for Anthem.
Well, they do have all the
Destiny
gadgets
2,
though, and the gear set.
That's true.
There's a lot to
and
toy with.
You can create different builds as well.
Yes,
you don't just have to
absolutely.
use.
Boom. Tell me, someone like myself and Luca who are kind of we're excited, but at the same time, how do you keep someone like myself and Luca past 40 hours into this game?
Well, listen, obviously it's a looter shooter, so you're going to be looking for better gear. You're going to be looking for better, obviously weapons outside of your armor and everything. And, there's all these different perks. It is based in the Tom Clancy universe. So you have all of these gadgets. You have the drones now. You have, the seeker mines. You have the flamethrower.
Did you find the story? But since these are based off of novels, I like how you brought that up. Right, Tom Clancy.
Yes.
Since these are based off of novels, wouldn't you expect that, myself personally, again, coming off as a mooch, I feel like it's being able to copy off somebody's homework. If you were like, hey, Mooch, you're in charge of writing the story for Division, I'm like, sweet! See you guys in 3 months. I'm just going to go write this book and copy a couple paragraphs. Why don't we have a little bit more story? It seems like the story is still kind of a very blah story.
Well, the dollar flu was, it was a big deal. It started in New York, obviously on Black Friday, and it was listen, let me just say this. First of all, I have no confirmation on this whatsoever, but you obviously know that the sleeper cells, the good guys with the Division agents, got activated when this happened. Well, there's a certain amount of factions you're going to come across in the Division 2. There's a faction that you do not meet until the end game, which is when you hit level 30. I believe you're going to be going up against other Division agents where they just became terrorists. This is just a complete
Sounds about
speculation.
right. They went rogue.
Yeah, I mean they went rogue or whatever, and but
their own group.
Yeah, and I think that's what's going to happen. But what is amazing about Ubisoft and this particular game is that they understood exactly what they did wrong. They did all of these updates. Update one of the biggest ones. I mean, they're up to update. I think it's 11.1, but 8.1 introduced the entire West Side Highway for free. Different missions to do. It was awesome, and they realized that game had a tremendous amount of shortcomings. And I think that why people are getting excited is because they've been really up in your face and transparent about why you're going to keep coming back to play this game. Remember, it used to be just one dark zone, and it was completely. It was bananas, right?
Anthem bombing does play into it.
Oh, absolutely, Luca.
Thank you,
fantastic point. Yes, absolutely.
Well, Luca, yeah, I was just going to say, this is really funny because when kind of like, I guess the closed beta for Division 2 came out, a lot of people were complaining about the glitches, sound glitches, glitch here, glitch there, glitch everywhere. Anthem drops, and now there's an open beta, starting today or whatnot. And for the Division, and everybody's like, "Oh, Division 2 is the savior now," and I just find that ironic.
I've seen people saying, "Well, I guess Destiny 2 is not that bad." Ever since Anthem dropped, I was like,
"No,
it's happened.
Terrible.
It's happened."
I watched Houndish's video today on Destiny 2, and I was looking at like the new content. Like maybe I'm gonna have to get back in there.
Bro, that shit looks fire.
Maybe.
It's funny. Destiny is always got a warm spot in my heart. I kind of, and I know that I'm gonna get boos and hisses from Luca and Xbot here. I myself with so many games on the horizon, and the only way I can get Luca to come back on my side is Sekiro. Right? There's so many great games coming out in the next 6 weeks. It's
ridiculous,
mind blowing. So it's hard for me to say, let me put these great games aside that are coming out. I've already got, my God, I can't hold a candle to Luca and Xbox hours in Destiny 2, but I got over a couple hundred hours into it. And for me personally, for me to go back to that, it's hard with all these great games. Dealer, where are you sitting yourself going into the next a plethora of games coming out? Are you a Division 2 person, or are you only doing Division 2 because maybe Anthem let you down, or maybe it didn't let you down?
I'm about to be laying talking about these trash looter shooters, man. I want some real games with a ton of actual content, narrative, and set pieces and things to do. I'm not interested in just, what'd you just say? Did you say Sea of Thieves? I'll fucking karate chop you over the internet. I'm still waiting for the rest of that Kraken fraud. So,
dude, I'm working on it, man.
I want this Batman game. They're going to confirm here probably in the next couple months. A lot of people are talking about Splinter Cell in the chat, and the lead creative director of Blacklist and some other things, Far Cry 2, etc. He's actually leading that new Ubisoft Montreal team in the development of this new 2019 Batman game. So I'm a big Arkham fan, and we haven't had one of those in 4 years, and I just think this thing is going to be great for anybody who's an Arkham fan, so I'm looking forward to that. But other than that, I've got Metro to run through. I've been so busy over the past week, and then getting this new PC set up and everything done, man. I'm just everything's nuts. But
Dealer, did you get Metro? Did you get Metro on PC, or did you get it on Xbox?
No, I don't even play. I barely play anything on PC, so I'm an Xbox
That's the thing.
guy.
I built this rig, the same thing.
No, I mean,
I don't even play on it.
If you're rendering it ridiculously high quality and messing with 4K content, you need a badass PC. So that's the price. Whatever it is. Yeah. People here on YouTube empower me to bring them better stuff. So that's what I did, and I'm happy I did it. It's gonna be future proof. But anyway. I got almost 130,000 gamer score, not as much as some people maybe on the panel, but I play pretty much everything on Xbox. So I'm an Xbox guy. So after all, that's why I started my channel. That's why I run my channel. So at the end of the day, Metro's on Xbox, best looking console game I've ever seen in my life. Destroys everything else I've seen. It looks crazy on the X.
Great eye candy, brother.
Even Crackdown was a blast. Didn't expect to enjoy that as much. So I've got that. But I've no life that. So I've got Metro to finish, and then we've got some other stuff coming out. But really, in terms of this year, man, Gears 5 is definitely on my radar. They're definitely changing it up, going semi-open world, apparently, according to what we heard. Rod Ferguson did an interview a week ago where he said, this is really the Coalition's first Gears of War game. The last one, we just had to prove that we could make a Gears game, kind of keep it risk-free, really, in the grand scheme of things. With this one, we're taking risks. We're doing things differently, and it's going to be probably the visual benchmark when it hits as well. But other than that, man, yeah, I mean, with Anthem, I was so disappointed because I knew it wasn't going to be a traditional BioWare game. It's not a real BioWare game, in my opinion. And to real BioWare fans, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's not acceptable to me. And EA is looking worse by the minute, especially after this. I don't have too much stock in those guys anymore.
So, Dealer, let me ask you this then, and everyone else on the panel. There's been talks now, okay, because EA made the comment, God, it's got to be a year ago now. They said that basically BioWare is like on notice. They said if this doesn't work, there's a good chance that they may separate.
They got a new CEO. Here's the problem.
They didn't say separate, but they said that they're on notice. I mean, this is they said they did. They said BioWare's on their last straw.
Wow, I don't know. I'd have to see that shit because that seems crazy as fuck.
Well,
you better buy this game. BioWare's fucked.
No, they didn't. I mean, listen, guys, I'm embellishing. It was a year ago. I don't have the quote in front of me, but like it was an article that was interesting. It said basically something to the extent of, we are putting more time. Because EA was under stress when they delayed it. So they were like, well, we are giving...
EA are causing their own strife. These idiots are not putting any polish and time into any game. There hasn't been a real Battlefield game, in my opinion, since Battlefield 3 and 4. And even 4 was broken for a year. I'm tired of these games where there's 6 fucking guns, no unlocks, nothing to do. Everything's hollow. Battlefield 5 had potential, but obviously that happened. And the campaign even launched with 25% of that missing. Had to be patched in. It's just EA are their own worst enemies. Their new CEO needs to fuck off and go somewhere else. He's ruining every single great IP they've had. Mass Effect Andromeda is reviewing better than fucking Anthem.
I know.
I mean, jeez.
Yeah.
It's not a great year for EA.
It's looking kind of. Listen, I'm a major BioWare fan. Love Mass Effect. Love Dragon Age.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is bad. This is really bad, and I've been having to cope with this dread. That for ever since they announced this game, I'm like, if this game does not do well, I am worried about BioWare because EA likes to just fucking axe people. They just axe. They are the ones who fuck it up for their devs. They force their devs to do
mayo
shit.
On the sandwich, bitch.
Here, you want to work on Dead Space? No, how about you go do what was it? Battlefield Hardline? Battlefield Hardline for people who did Dead Space? Are you fucking kidding me? Yeah. They do this to themselves. Hey, BioWare, you're great at single player, in-depth, amazing RPGs. Go do a looter shooter. Are you fucking serious?
Yeah, and somebody says something like Apex Legend. Credit due to that team. They say EA had no hand, but that's not true. EA paid for the fucking game.
Right.
Apex Legends is good at what it does, but it's a very limited and linear game when you think about it.
Yeah.
It's an open map. You go fucking do the same thing you've been doing for 2 years now.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, EA are failing to innovate. This Star Wars game from Respawn, to me, is going to show whether or not, because there was a little bit of time, 2015, where Ubisoft was on some fuck shit, but now they've come back. They've rebounded with Origins, Far Cry, and especially Odyssey. If you have not played Odyssey, holy shit. That game is phenomenal.
I own that game, and I haven't even started it, and shame on me. Shame on me. I know.
It's so good, and I hate the treatment that game got. Yeah, it has microtransactions. Most all of them are cosmetic.
Everything does. Who
exactly?
cares?
Don't talk about microtransactions. How bad Odyssey is, and then defend Anthem. You know what I'm saying? So
exactly the way that a lot of people keep going off on certain subjects. That's the one thing that I go off on. As I can't stand microtransactions are basically up to the individual. If you want to go buy, I think it was Boom. Didn't you buy Pegasus or something?
Yes.
Right. You bought a Pegasus.
Can't lie.
It's up to him. He can do whatever he wants. I don't have a problem with that at all. But I mean, one thing though, Luca, you said is BioWare is one of the companies you hold near and dear to your heart. But if they do get let go of EA, that's not necessarily a bad thing because
I feel that's a mistake for EA.
Wouldn't Microsoft maybe pick them up or somebody else?
Okay, but they would sit on their IPs. I want another Dragon Age and I want another fucking Mass Effect. So no, it's not good.
They're working on another Dragon Age right now, and Casey Hudson has already said that they're not done with Mass Effect. But again, it makes you wonder.
Dude, I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah,
that could just be PR talk.
Casey Hudson
it could be. Well, you know what?
It joined the team for Anthem so many times, it was ridiculous.
Casey Hudson also said that fucking Anthem would be, when people look at a BioWare game, they expect that BioWare experience, and Anthem will be that. He literally said that. So I'm sorry, Casey Hudson. I'm not taking anything you say.
Yep.
That hypnotic perm is not working anymore.
Let's just be real. When it comes to Anthem should have been delayed until the holidays. They would have had enough time to get like the cataclysms ready and everything like that. We wouldn't have to wait months to get added content and stuff. And it would have been a lot better if it released later on this year.
I mean, the biggest issue is that a bunch of looter shooters are all coming out at the same time. Like, you know, Warframe's about to get its new DLC drop. Destiny 2 is about to get its new DLC drop. The Division 2 is coming out. Like, it sucks. Like, they probably chose February because it's like, well, no one releases games in February. And then everyone's like, yeah, let's release games in February.
February
think about this. So one point to add to Luke, what Luke is saying. The first half of 2019 is probably the most packed first half to any year this whole generation. Would you say, Crap?
I completely agree.
Crap Gamer, would you say? Where you at?
Are you back, Crap? Crap had to step away. So he said he goes, I'll be right back.
What was the question? What was the question?
The first half of 2019 is probably the most packed we've had all generation. Would you agree?
Yeah, I mean,
it's crazy.
Yeah, hit after hit. Well, not hit, but I mean, game after game.
Game after game. There we go.
Yes.
You know, it's harder to get a hit.
But Crap, you'll be honest. This is the most.
Seems like actually, I checked that. It seems like the hits are more the single player stuff. Like I'm seeing a lot of stuff that's a lot of heavily on the multiplayer is kind of getting torn up. So
yeah, because when everything has multiplayer, then nothing special, right? So
yeah, but hasn't February shown all of us what we've been saying? And I've been saying it for a long time. I'm going to give you guys the benefit of the doubt. Metacritic doesn't mean shit. I know that people like to use it as a quote unquote like metric, but realistically speaking, these games that got like, listen, you might not like Anthem, but there's people putting hundreds of hours into it. You might not like Crackdown.
You guys make me want to play Anthem when we get off the show.
Well, I got to be honest with you. I mean, this is just a little bit in the mood. I'm playing a lot of Anthem this weekend because after this weekend, I don't know if I'll be going back to Anthem after this.
Well, I mean,
there's a lot to play.
Reviews should be used as a guideline, but not the end all be all. I think people like I listen to reviews, right? Just to like listen to them. I like listening to them. I like reading through them, but at the end of the day, I'm going to experience a game or a movie or a TV show or music for myself because I have very unique taste, you know.
Yes.
Hashtag I love that XXX movie, Return of Xander Cage. I know it's trash, but it's amazing. Listen, I know. I love that movie. So I don't listen to I don't let reviews stop me from going to see something or playing something.
What's the next trashiest thing you love after that though?
King Arthur.
Runner-up is malaria. Well, I mean, what's next?
King Arthur, Legend of the Sword, amazing. That Assassin's Creed movie was amazing. So.
Wow.
Rip.
Yeah. You know, listen.
I wasn't sure I'd ever hear that, Luca. I'm glad you said that.
We should stop letting Luca say things that she likes.
Let me live.
Never mind.
Please.
Let me live.
It doesn't take a lot for me to enjoy a movie, so it's got to be really bad for me to not like it.
Let me ask you guys this.
Did you like Menon? That's a true test.
Oh, I thought it was a 7. It was,
all right, yeah, you do like trash movies.
Yeah.
You didn't like Venom at all, Dealer?
Oh my god, it was fucking horrible.
I thought it got better at the end, but nonetheless.
Yeah, because it did.
Right. Alita Battle Angel was freaking great, though.
Wait, guys, let's talk about this. So February games, right? We're staying on subject. So Far Cry New Dawn, I think, kind of got a bad rap. Okay, I don't like what Far Cry does recently. I don't like what they did with Primal. Primal was basically Far Cry 4 reskinned, and now you have Far Cry New Dawn, which I know Xbox going to have some feelings on. Well, Blood Dragon was, you know what? In all honesty, Luca, I think Blood Dragon is completely a different situation. That was a very short, like twisted, like, I don't know. I thought that was a shorter version of what they're trying to do with Far Cry 3. But this is like a full game almost, right? Far Cry New Dawn.
I'm going to be streaming Far Cry New Dawn.
I know. I saw you and Mel playing the shit out of it. All I'm saying is that I think the game is pretty good, actually. And I think that, to be honest with you, there's parts of me that wants to play Far Cry New Dawn more than I want to play Far Cry 5. Anybody feel like that?
Wow, really?
Yeah, Far Cry 5 got boring real fast for me. It was like, well, do you want to fight the brother? Do you want to fight the sister? We don't give a shit. Do whatever you want. And I'm like, well, if you don't care, neither do I. Right? So I was like, here it's kind of like.
Well, so you never got to the part where got to the part where you're flying a plane across the sky and you get sniped by a fucking arrow, and then you just appear in their base.
Well, that's just some of the technical issues with that game.
No, I mean, no matter what, like if you do a certain amount of stuff in a certain region, the John guy out there, doing who knows what to a deer in the woods, if you do enough stuff in his region, he'll fucking snipe you with an arrow no matter what you're doing. So you be flying across the sky, and there you go.
I don't know. For some reason, Far Cry 5 grew old on me so quick, and it sucked because I was looking forward to it.
Yeah, no,
and then,
that game grew old on me too.
Right?
Irritated. Flying mechanics irritated me as well. So
yes, my God. You know what else irritated me with the flying mechanics? I'm going way off base here, but what was it? There it was the Ubisoft game that everybody loved. Me, Colt plays the crap out of it. Dealer,
Ghost Recon.
Shoot. Yes, thank you. Ghost Recon. I actually played with Colt. They're like, just get in the plane. We're gonna go over here. We're gonna go over there. And all we kept doing was crashing. And I was like, maybe it's a me problem.
Maybe you should just drive the damn plane.
you know what I said to them? You take the plane. I'll walk. I got plenty of
plane, Mooch. I'll drive. How about
right? So I was like, but I mean, myself personally, I saw that Far Cry New Dawn is now $29.99, and you guys all like go, holy shit, it's garbage, it's trash. It's not. It was $39.99, went down $10. This is what happens when you have a crowded window. I mean, what is wrong with these publishers, right, guys? I mean, why are we on the outside looking in? And sometimes I feel like we have more information than they do. I said here,
gaming is a year-round hobby, right? So
it is. So why can't we have this stuff come out in April?
Because there's other shit in April. Devil May Cry, that's what I'm saying. This year is ridiculously packed.
I mean, Devil May Cry is coming out in March, right? We've got all these games, right? No, but dealer, my point being is that April.
Move it somewhere else is what you're saying.
Yes, just move it to an open slot. They all know, people don't understand this. If me, dealer, crap gamer, Boombastic, Luca, Xbot, and Clowns know what's coming out in the next 6 months, so do these other people in the business. So I would turn around if this panel right now was my board at my company, and we wanted to release Far Cry New Dawn, which we know is a skin over, right? It's just a new skin on top of Far Cry 5. Wouldn't I say to you guys, would we want to maybe push this thing back? I know we've told investors we're going now, but realistically, we'll make a splash on the market and plus moving it farther away from Far Cry 5 only helps us. What do you guys think? They don't see it seems like the gaming industry for $1 billion industry, like the NFL is such and they've had a bit of a hiccup in the past 2 years, but they've done such a great job with promoting the brand and this and that and getting it on. My God, football used to be on once a week. Now it's on 5. And that's how you promote a brand, right? That's how you get something from 1 day a week to 5 on national television. And now you've got a games company that's trying to say this is $1 billion business, and you see a window's crowded. There's 6 games coming out in 2 weeks in February. When you move it, does anybody? Nobody sees.
If you know what you were doing, you would have never made New Dawn anyway and put those people on a different game. That's actually because everyone kind of the consensus is, hey, New Dawn.
I'll buy that.
If you like it, right? But some people like doing some other weird shit. So I'm just saying that maybe that game probably shouldn't be a thing. It's like you said, after the reviews, especially, and after what I'm hearing from people that I actually do trust, it's just a game that doesn't need to be. It's just that it's the same reason Ubisoft are releasing Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered. They just need to hit that check box marks for a certain amount of games released each year, it seems like, and there you go.
Yeah,
so Xbot, what's your 2 cents on Far Cry New Dawn? Is it worth people picking up at the new discounted price, or
I'm
wait for it to get down to $8?
Well,
Boom, you playing it too?
Yeah, I'm loving it.
Well, I mean,
Boom,
$10.
I haven't seen you guys talk about it.
Yeah, well,
how far are you into it, Boom?
I'm about 10 hours in so far.
Yeah, apparently it starts to fall off.
I haven't started it yet, to be honest.
You know
We'll
what?
see, Boom.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you look, I'm a diehard fan of the Far Cry series. I enjoyed Primal. I enjoyed all the in-betweens.
Oh, man, you enjoyed the worst one.
Yeah, it's fine. It's okay. But I played through it. I enjoyed it. I put a significant amount of time into it. I like the sisters that are the antagonists, if you will, of the game. I like how they explained what happened after the bombs dropped. Yes, it's a $40 title. Yes, it's more Far Cry. Yes, it's sneaking into bases and taking them over and trying not to do things with alarms.
Oh,
someone's ringing the bell. That's them. Xbot, take it away, dude.
All right, yeah, no doubt. Well, I was gonna say, I haven't got into the game yet. It was a game that Snaps really wanted to get into. She's been streaming it, and she actually beat it. And Mooch, you know her when it comes to single player experiences. That's not really like her bag. You know what I'm saying?
It's not. She likes multiplayer.
dude, she got so involved in this game where she would come over to the room where I'm playing, like trying to play Anthem, and it's crashing all over the place and all that good stuff. And she comes in and she starts telling me everything that she's doing in the game. And I'm like, damn, well, we have that game. I want to play it, but I'm not going to play it now unless I'm ready to stream it. I want kind of like my first experience to be out there on my channel. And OSnap said that I can't do it without her there as well, because she wants to go in with her like unicorn flamethrower and unicorn onesie and all the crazy stuff that she has crafted in it. I mean, dude, for what, $30? I don't think you can go wrong with the content that you're getting.
That's kind of how I feel right now. I think for the discounted price, I'll tell you this much, guys.
You get it for the deal above anything else, man. When it comes to that,
after listening to Senora Bombastic, boom, going on about Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Resident Evil 2 in past weeks, Far Cry New Dawn, The Division 2. I don't know about you guys, but I'm looking forward to retirement. Boom! It sounds fantastic.
Dude, we got Gears dropping this year.
He disappeared, but I agree with Led Zeppelin in the chat. I want a new fucking Barbie game. Stat.
I got news.
You guys have been hanging out with Randall Thor, right? That's what it is. That's why Barbie. You got to get the achievements.
Yeah, you got to do what you got to do to be a man with a million.
I call him Randall Barbie, by the way, yo. Shout out to Randall Barbie out there.
Fraud Al Thor.
Listen, guys, let me ask Xbot a question real quick. Xbot, listen, there's a lot of emphasis on Halo Infinite.
Oh yeah.
And I got to be honest with you, I'm very excited for this generation, because I played a lot of, I didn't play nowhere near, shout out to Lady Foxfire, nowhere near what she's touched on it, but I have been on Gears more often than not. Gears kind of stole my heart this generation, but I'd really like to go back to being the Halo Knight, if you will.
Master Chief, baby.
What can we do? Like, what do you right? What do you guys think? I mean, Xbox, I'll start with you because you are the resident Halo expert.
He wants Master Chief to be a woman.
Yes, ma'am.
Bring back more Locke missions.
Oh wow! We're talking to Xbot, not K Mega, right?
Right.
You know that.
My bad. Yeah. Go ahead, Xbot.
What do you think, Xbot? And then I'll go to you, Crap. Do you guys think that the franchise can be saved by this new engine and rebooting it?
First off, I don't think it necessarily needs to be saved. All right. 343 came in with Halo 4. They made an incredible story.
Yes.
People didn't like the multiplayer. And then with Halo 5, people were like, the story was meh, but the multiplayer was fire. So all they have to do right now is put everything together. Now, what I'm hearing with Halo Infinite and the new engine with its RPG elements and kind of like focusing on a Halo ring again, I from what I'm hearing, they're like, they want to bring it back to its roots. Do you remember the first time in the very first Halo when you dropped onto the Halo ring and you looked at that world like, damn, I can go anywhere right now?
Yes.
That's the emotion that they're trying to bring back to the game. And damn, I think they're going to do it, man. From what I'm seeing with the engine, what I'm hearing about the RPG elements.
Why do you guys think that they're talking about Halo Infinite so much now? This is not like Microsoft, right? 18 months. The game's going to come out in 18 days before we talk about it. Why are they so vocal, Crap?
Got it.
Well, Xbox, go ahead.
Gotta get people hyped up about something. I mean,
yes.
even though it's far away, I think it's closer than a lot of their other games. So I mean, 2020. That's not really that far off. It's supposedly going to be a launch title.
It's not, but did it catch you guys by storm? It caught me a little bit by storm. I'm like, well, why is Bonnie Ross on IGN? Why is she talking about Halo?
Because I think this is the next evolution in the Halo series. Now, you remember when Halo came out, that first-person shooter on a console, that the movement, the way it was, like people really didn't play that on console. We were like GoldenEye, before that and stuff like that. And they really pushed forward that first person shooter can be run and played on console. And I think now with this one, even though it's still going to be first person, they're bringing back that exploration that people like felt from the first game, and they're evolving the Halo franchise is what it seems like to me from what I'm hearing.
I think this game needed that. I mean,
yeah, it definitely did, man.
Boom, do you agree with Xbox saying? I think what he said was spot on.
Yes, I well, listen, this is you better timestamp this. Right? That's right. Me
somebody
Xbox,
record this.
We agree.
me and him. Not only do we agree to the letter, to the syllable. You know, I absolutely think what he, I don't even know how I can respond to it, because what he said is exactly what I would have said. But I am going to say that, you know, it's a very exciting time. I kind of just want to take it, just kind of turn it a little bit, because if what we're hearing, he just talked about, and now we're hearing that it's going to be a launch title for the Anaconda, it's very exciting, and I'm getting those old Halo feelings.
Mhm.
You know, I understand it's going to be a new type Halo. It's going to be a little bit different. I mean, they keep saying, you know, you've heard RPG. I don't think it's going to be the Destiny Halo. I don't think we're going to get that. But I am going to say that, like you, Mooch, I want that old school throwback Halo 2 Combat Evolve feeling. And I think we're going to get that. I think we're going to get that, but I think we're going to get bigger, bolder graphics, more realistic, and I think we're going to get a little twist on what the traditional corridor shooter that we were all we all grew up with is going to just be changed a bit.
Well,
Mooch, I think that the Bonnie Ross thing that's going on, she's doing the Phil Spencer "I'm So Sorry" tour. That's what she's doing, right? Just think about what Phil Spencer did when he took over Xbox. We're so sorry. I didn't listen. I was there. I should have spoke up. My God, I'm so sorry. Why. That's what she's doing. Oh man, we realized we made some mistakes. We're sorry. We wish we could have done this. Here, we'll give you some information that we never gave before. We consider doing Halo 5.5. We consider doing, we're looking at Halo Battle Royale. We wanted to do Halo 4 as a launch title for the Xbox One. Hey, that would have been a fucking genius move, right? Launch your next gen system with a Halo game. Imagine that. Like now they're gonna do that, right? But
so she's doing the right thing, basically.
Yeah, she's basically going around there trying to mend fences. That's the franchise that they want to kind of last for a long time.
But she did say crap. She did say that it doesn't matter. They're not shooting for Xbox One or the next Xbox. It's going to come out when it's done, which is that shit I do like.
Yeah, I think it will. That's what the extra time is for. But I still strongly think it's going to be a 2020 game and it'll launch.
That should be about right. It's 5 years. There's plenty of time.
I would put money on that one for real.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. You don't want to keep Halo out of the sights and the minds for too long. Just have it come back sort of like the way God of War did. Came back in a really epic fashion with a sort of change to what they did. Yeah. So just, have Halo come back and, if you like what I took from the trailer that they showed was, they're going to have some ambience there. They're going to have some animals. They're going to have, it's going to be like how that original kind of sandbox was. And I like that they're calling it a spiritual reboot. People wanted to play as Chief. Let them play as Chief. I never understood.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Will the Dolphins from the 2015 build to Sea of Thieves be there?
The 2015 Sea of Thieves build. I would hope not.
They were Dolphins and they had blowholes.
No, the other half of the Kraken will be there though.
Oh, okay.
Did they ever put the Kraken back?
No, the Kraken is still lacking.
But he's lacking.
Guys, when it comes to Infinite, I'm gonna make a prediction here. When they're talking RPG elements, the way I want to see that work out is like how they have it a lot more wide open. I want you to be able to choose like which direction you're going, and by choosing that direction and ending up in different areas, like the core of the story branches out, so you would get a different experience going left instead of down the middle or to the right or behind you. I mean, at the end, I think you have to hit kind of like the same ending, but your path would be different. I think that would add to the replay value for the campaign as well. So instead of now, going over to those hills over to the left, you're like, you know what, I'm going to go to that valley to the right. I'm going to see what kind of like bases and things to discover over there and how the story kind of branches off that way. I think that's how they are going to make this game.
Yeah, no, I think that first of all these different changes are refreshing. I like to see that they're doing something expansive on that universe. I like to see that they're doing it on Gears as well. I think that dealer covered it really well when he talked about Rod's interview. I think that I do think Crap's right. I think that Bonnie's doing the I'm Sorry tour because one of the first things in the first he's right. One of the first things in the first 2 minutes with Ryan's interview was Ryan's like, well, Halo 5. He doesn't say. I'm paraphrasing, folks.
Hey Jimmy,
he wasn't that good. Wasn't very good. And he's like, well, we'll get into Halo 5 later. And she's like, yeah. We'll get into Halo 5 later. Let's talk about Infinite. That's what I'm here for. Right? It's like, of course, you got to get a jab in there. Thanks, Ryan.
Hey, Bonnie, remember that level? Those levels where you just walk. Great.
She's like, yeah, Ryan, we remember, we made it. Next, thank you.
Remember when you guys hyped up that Master Chief versus Locke showdown? It was like a little 2-second bitch fight.
That was like great.
And Bonnie was like, yeah, Ryan, we remember, we made it.
I mean, Craft's right. Craft's right. Remember that was true marketing behind Halo 5. It just turns out that none of it was in the game.
Right.
It was horrible. Bonnie, I was like,
Bonnie will look at Ryan and
Bonnie should have turned around and been like, gotcha.
I have 3 Teslas.
By the way, we're sorry about this marketing campaign. What marketing campaign? This one.
Exactly. And guys,
hey, let's put some other characters in there that you won't remember who their names are. Like if it isn't Locke,
except for Buck.
But I keep telling people,
like,
Buck, why didn't you get Quantum Break at 8?
Well,
I don't remember anybody in that damn game. That's why.
Yeah.
Like I don't remember a single character's name.
No. That was the problem with that. No, I don't. I really don't. And I think that's the problem. You say Quantum Break, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I think a lot of people are like, give me Quantum Break too. And I'm like, stop it. Just stop it. Speaking of that, so something I've been very excited to talk about with Luca. Shout out to @Sin Vendetta. Sin has been amazing.
That's our boy. That's our boy.
Absolutely. And you don't realize this, but you guys you're getting a treat tonight. You have Mooch and the female Mooch tonight. We both mooched a copy of it. Guys, this is a very great special game coming out. And I want Luca to kind of talk about it. Luca, Sekiro Shadows Die Twice comes out in March. Me and you are psyched about it. I don't know how many other people on the panel are, but I know me and you are like just drooling for this game. And it's different than typical Souls games, right?
Yes,
would you agree with that?
Absolutely.
And can you let people know? I mean, I know, but let people know kind of how this game kind of separates itself from the traditional Souls game from Software.
All right, so most Souls games, well, first things first, they have a very convoluted story.
Yes.
The Dark Souls series. Bloodborne is actually more, not necessarily straightforward, but the story's more
simplified
cohesive in a way.
Yes.
No, it's not that either. It deals with eldritch horror, so and like Lovecraftian horror, so it's not like simple. But that's Bloodborne, that is. But for Sekiro, you play as just the one character, the guy. I don't know what his name is. It seems like it's gonna have like I'm guessing a straightforward story. We'll have to see. It's harder than the traditional Souls games, which I can't wait.
Right? Let's die some more.
Control to kick in. It encourages you to use just a sword and then the grappling hook. So you can't do different builds with it. Like it seems like it's pretty straightforward and broken down in comparisons to how in-depth the Souls RPGs typically are. Mm-hmm. So
I have a question though, Luca. Here's the one thing that I found a bit, I don't know, odd. Is that they said, like, for me personally, I know there was parts of Souls where you were like, okay, Mooch, we can run past, so we would run past certain enemies.
Oh my God, I was so good at running from once I beat the game the first time where I took my time, I went through everything. Subsequent playthroughs, I'm like, no, I'm running. Let's go. Mooch, let's go. Mooch,
but Luca, didn't you remember though? Like, when you do run past it, there are times you have to backtrack through in Souls, and then if you backtrack through, yes, maybe you're a little bit more OP later, but like you still have to fight these dudes later, So it's like I feel like with Sekiro, when I watched a few people that are doing like tutorials and being like, this is my opinion on it, and they're like, you can run through it. And I see some of the developers, I'm like. That I thought it would be more like, see, like Neo, you can't really run through, right? No. Like Neo, you had to like take
I still want to play that game too.
It's a great game, but let me tell you something. You have to sit yourself in a bubble tape room because you'll break everything in it. I
don't know. I played Ninja Gaiden like heartfelt played Ninja Gaiden like 360 era.
Well,
man. Like,
okay, so let me ask Luca then. Luca, am I the only one that I felt Neo was way more. I don't want to use the word difficult. I found it more.
Are we like literally the same person? Same,
right? I felt it was more frustrating.
My God. Like I don't know if it was just because I was in a party that one time, but that first fucking boss took me 800 tries, and I was like pissed at myself.
I can only play it when the family wasn't around. It was a lot of yelling.
Yeah, so for me, I played Bloodborne.
Or a Tuesday, as it's known in your house.
That's true. Thank you, the Don. That's awesome. That's great crap.
So I played Bloodborne, and then I played through the entirety of the Souls series minus Demon Souls. I tried to play through Demon Souls, but I'm not getting on my PlayStation 3. Like, I'm not doing that. And I went into Neo, and I just had a really difficult time adjusting to everything, and I wasn't getting it for some reason. But I've heard the opposite of people who struggle in the Souls games but fucking love Neo and excel.
Like, Neo's easy. It's great.
Like, yeah, so it's like, but I know people who are like good at both, so it really just depends. But for me, it's like, and I don't know, maybe it's because I put so many hours in the Souls series, but Neo definitely messed me up for those beginning hours.
Does that concern you the same way it concerns me then, Luca? I'm a little bit more concerned walking into Sekiro of being like, oh my God, this kind of looks like Neo on crack.
Yeah, it does look a lot like Neo, but I don't know. It'll still probably have those. It'll probably still feel like a FromSoft game.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
I feel like I'll be able to get into it easier than I was with Neo, which I'm excited for Neo too, by the way. But yeah, so I mean, it's gonna be difficult. Like I cannot wait for the Stockholm Syndrome to kick in. I'm super excited about it, and yeah, this is probably the one game that will pull me away from Destiny. So,
well, if you guys are liking what me and Luca are saying, I've already asked Luca, I've already asked Sin, and I've asked Scythe. These are the people that I trust and hold near and dear to my heart on all the Souls games from Software. We are going to do some sort of a roundtable. Probably, I would say anywhere from 4 to 7 days in after launch, so we can start discussing it. We'll do a semi no spoilers, and then as the season continues, we'll go into some spoilers. I'd like to have that roundtable once a week.
Specialized content, brother.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to that. And these guys are experts. Okay, I'm going to be the novice, and I'll gladly wear that hat. But yeah, this is I've always felt, growing up, I've always liked challenging games. Like I know a lot of people are gonna really call me like this is like dating myself a bit, but like Ghosts and Goblins or Super Ghosts and Goblins, I don't care if you're playing on the SNES Classic or the Mini, go try and play that game. Like I refuse to leave the TV till I beat that game when I was younger. And like that's why Dark Souls I didn't know what Dark Souls was or Bloodborne was when I kind of was getting into this generation, and even last generation I kind of ignored them. And shame on me. Those are great games, and I love the challenge. Pink Floyd says it in the chat. He says, "Same Mooch, I love the challenge. I love that challenge. I like that the game kicks my ass, and then I get a chance to try and kick its ass later." But nonetheless, I recommend it to a lot of people who like that challenge. It's not for everybody, and I'm not talking everybody into it. But do keep privy to the channel and to Twitter on all of our channels. We will be doing a roundtable as that game progresses. And let me tell you something. It's going to be funny to pay attention to because there's going to be a lot of yelling and a lot of cursing. Trust me. Trust me. This is not for the weak-hearted.
I am looking forward to it, brother.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Guys, we are rounding around the 2 o'clock, 2 o'clock. 2 hour mark on Friday night. And we have a long amount of extra. Oh my God, I got to get the hell out of here. It's been a long goddamn day. We got a lot of outros. But I need coffee. I need to eat. I got a lot of things going on. I didn't even make a food reference tonight. People are disappointed. Let me start in reverse order. Let me go with Luca. Luca, it has absolutely been a pleasure to have you here. Please come back soon. And we are going to be doing a lot of Sekiro Shadows Die Twice on my channel, your channel, however you want to do it. We will make it work. And thank you for being here. Let people know where they can find you.
Yes, thank you very much for having me. I had a lot of fun. You guys can find me on Twitter at the Ash and Luca, and yes, I will definitely come back. And you know, I love talking about the games that I'm really passionate about, so I'm definitely looking forward to this. And Scythe and Sin are so cool, so I think it'll be a good time. Oh, I just if Scythe, Sin, if you guys are listening to this later, get good mics. Okay.
Absolutely. And I like how Lucas said that actually when we were tweeting. She's like, guys, because I think it was who was it? Was it Sin? Was like, I need to buy a mic, and she's like, if you don't have a nice mic, you're out. It's great. I mean, I'm kind of paraphrasing, but it's like it's so true. You have to have a good mic. I learned that from Crap. Right? Crap's got bad ears.
Yeah, exactly.
The minute you get on Xbox Nation, even if he invites you to the show, if all of a sudden it's like he's like, I'm sorry, we're gonna have to do this another week. This isn't working out. I can't hear shit. Guys, I completely agree with you, Luca. They have to have a good mic. So let's work on that. We'll help the guys out. Dealer, thank you for being here tonight, buddy. Your insight. There's been a lot of sensitive subjects over the past 2 weeks, right? We're talking about new technology. We're talking about things that we knew about, but maybe the audience didn't know about. You kind of broke things down. I know you've been very vocal on your channel about it. I appreciate you being here tonight. Hope to have you on again really soon, and let people know where they can find you, buddy.
Yeah, man, it's no problem. Just rub some Desitin on it and move along. It's really not that big of a deal. So at the end of the day, it was a great show. You know, it's good to be here, even though everyone might not agree. It's important for people watching to know that, you know, that's just how it is. People are different, and different perspectives make for a better show, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it was a good podcasting with you guys again. You can catch me at my channel, Dealer Gaming. I did a video yesterday, and you know, one particularly a few days ago. I spent about 10 hours making that bitch at least. So the Xbox big comeback, in my opinion, there's never been a better time to be more excited about the future of Xbox, actually, especially the last 2 years. Like, what the fuck? We're coming out of the dumpster here, and we got a lot of stuff coming up. So it's a good time to be nice and excited. So check out that video. Got a lot of Sony guys upset, but you know, most all the feedback has been great. And you know, once again, catch me there. Twitter at dealer_gaming, Xbox Live, II_dealer_II. You guys remember that one. And good podcast.
Awesome, Dealer. Thank you so much, buddy. And then my buddy, Italian Clowns. You know, a lot of people were asking for you in the chat. You may not have realized this, especially Elemental who's a big fan of MNC. He's like, where the hell's Clowns? Let Clowns talk. That's going to be our new thing. Let Clowns talk. Clowns, how are you doing tonight, buddy? Let people know where the hell they can find you. And next week, you are on the hook for at least 20 minutes.
Yeah, sorry. I was the Italian mime tonight. I tried not to be, but it happened again. So every Thursday, 4 Guys with Quarters around 5 p.m. Eastern, 4GWQ Presents, where we interview people in the comic film industry. And this Sunday, 4 Guys with Quarters is going to be on ILP.
Awesome, buddy. Great to have you here, Clowns. And then I've got Xbot 448, sometimes confused for 844. Xbot, you got something big going on tomorrow, I'm sure. Let people know about it.
Oh, yeah, no doubt, man. On my channel tomorrow, 7 p.m., it is the next podcast. And we are having a special guest. Mrs. L. Boogie will be joining us. And trust me, guys, I did not go light on the topics. We got some juicy topics to jump in on, and I cannot wait for the panel to share their opinions. You know, Nox has been going crazy. Nox K Mega Predator's been trying to chime in a lot as well. It's been crazy. Mooch, you saw last week.
It was a great show last week, buddy. I mean, I'm a little bit biased. I was on it, but nonetheless, it was a great show.
Nice. Thanks, bro.
You got it, buddy. And then I've got Singing a Boombastic Boom, who's actually doing a podcast during this podcast. That's how many things he does at once, folks. Okay, Boom. Let people know where they can find you, buddy. It was great having you tonight.
Yeah, thanks. It was a great show as always. Always looking forward to Friday nights. And of course, you know, it's again, lots to talk about. Yeah, hit me up on Twitter at Mr. Boomstick XL, or check out my channel, Double Barrel Gaming, on YouTube. I will be doing an arcade 1-up unboxing. They sent me the Rampage unit for a review, and I'll be doing that this week on my channel.
Awesome, Boom. Awesome, buddy. I appreciate it. And then last but certainly not least, my MNC co-host, Crap Gamer Crap. We have a great show. Lots of voicemails, lots of things going on, lots of giveaways this Sunday on your channel. Let people know where they can find you, buddy.
Crap Gamer Reviews, and we do got MNC Sunday at 11 Eastern. Should be a really good show. We've got a lot of voicemails and things like that. Tonight's your last night to get those in.
Yes.
On Skype. So MC, what is it? MC Show Live?
Yes, sir.
MC Show Live. Just call that up like you would a regular phone number. Get to the voicemail. Leave your little voicemail dealie, and you're entered to win some shit. I think we're giving away Xbox Game Pass this Sunday because
we've got a couple of Xbox Game Passes to give away.
Yeah, because they were giving that shit away to people that did the technical test for Crackdown 3. So yeah, it's going to be a good time. Come join it, and we'll see you then. Thanks for having me on.
Awesome, buddy. Awesome. And guys, enjoy your Friday night. Thank you to the panel. Thank you to the chat. Guys, hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. We're doing a show for you guys. It's Friday night. People want to do other things. We're doing the show for you. Hit the subscribe button. We'll see you guys next Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Appreciate it. Peace.
Bye.
Later.